Celestial Immortal Clan. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 276, Fulfilling the Promise. It was quite fun to open the blind box, and he got a lot of things, but it seemed that there were not many suitable for him to use now. The King Mount Jiufeng Sutra was for his grandfather and aunt, and he already had this Hawaiian pill, so he could only keep it for now. Let's see whether to give it to his second uncle and second aunt, or find an opportunity to exchange it for resources. I don't know what the 3 spiritual seeds of the spiritual vine are now, but I estimate that I probably won't be able to use them. Anyway, he is sure that he will not practice any spells such as entanglement, which is not suitable for his personality. If he wants to survive, he will let the purple crystal scorpion go, which is convenient and fast, and it is not easy to fail. The 3rd level spiritual materials should be useful in the future, but the problem is that he is only at the 1st level now, and it is still early to the 3rd level. It is estimated that these things will have to be placed in the inner space for a long time before they can be used. Taking advantage of the time now, Lin Changqing copied the King Mount Jiufeng Sutra twice. In fact, he is now hesitating whether to give Zhao Linyu a copy of the King Mount Jiufeng Sutra. In this way, even if he fulfilled his promise to her, the reason for this idea was that the King Mount Jiufeng Sutra was actually prepared by Qingyuan sect for ordinary inner disciples. This technique is a simplified version of the King Jiufeng Sutra, and after thousands of years, it has spread a lot for various reasons, and it has been widely circulated in the outside world. Many inner disciples of Qingyuan sect left the sect to create their own families and taught the techniques to the core members of the clan. It is very likely that they are simplified versions of the 5 Emperors Jiufeng Sutra, that is, the Jiuyu Thick Earth Sutra and the King Mount Jiufeng Sutra. Of course, the most important thing is that this technique was created by him, not from the family, so there is no saying that he betrayed the family. After considering various factors, he finally decided to give Zhao Linyu a copy of the copy technique. After all, she majored in wood-based techniques, and practicing this one was just right. Looking at the sky outside, it was almost evening, and the pot of green jade tea was just finished. After a harvest, he left Aoyan Peak. When they returned to their own courtyard, except for their father who needed to be on duty, everyone else had arrived. After enjoying the spiritual meal prepared by their mother and aunt, Grandpa conveyed some of the contents of today's family meeting to everyone, especially the decision to let all the clan members not leave the family in the near future. Hearing this news, Sister Lin Changqing was directly depressed. Sitting on the chair, she had no energy at all. She also wanted her brother to take her to the market to play for a few days recently, but she didn't expect that it would not work now. Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing. He knew it would be like this. He reached out and touched his sister's little head to comfort her. Then, he told her that he had opened the King Mount Jiufeng Sutra in the jade box as he had divided, and that he could practice to the great perfection of the Jinden period. Grandpa and aunt were a little bit unbelievable when they heard that there was such a good thing. Lin Changqing directly took out the original jade slip of the practice. Grandpa took it directly, put it on his forehead, and began to check it. After a while, he handed the jade slip to his daughter. After thinking for a while, he said, "I guess this should be Li Yaozong's thing. He happens to be practicing a wood-attributed technique, and he is also the clan leader. It is barely reasonable for him to carry the technique jade slip with him. I will take this jade slip away. When the time comes, it will be listed as the core inherited technique of the family together with the 9 Mountains and Thick Earth Sutra." Lin Changqing nodded and said, "That's why I took out the jade slip. It's a pity that the technique can only be practiced to the golden core great perfection, which is still a little short." Grandpa nodded with a smile and said, "This is already very good. Don't ask for so much. When you are really lucky enough to practice to the nascent soul stage, it won't be too late to think of a way." Aunt also said with a smile, "If I can practice to the golden core stage in this life, I will be very satisfied. I dare not even think about the nascent soul stage." Lin Changqing laughed when he heard her say this, and said to his aunt, "And, this is not up to you. Maybe we can ascend to the upper realm by then, Kinger. Your goal is too big, but I hope you can achieve it. Remember to bring your aunt along when the time comes." After she finished speaking, she laughed, obviously not believing that Lin Changqing could achieve this goal. However, after hearing what her aunt said, Lin Changqing just nodded and agreed with a smile, saying that he would definitely bring her along when the time came. After chatting for a while, everyone went back to their rooms to refine the spiritual food. Lin Changqing returned to his room, checked it a little, and then communicated with Lin Changliu, asking it to leave a space mark here for future convenience. Then he activated the small 5-element maze formation and entered the inner space directly. After not coming in for a while, the deer were very enthusiastic, especially Lu Xiaoling and Lu Xiaomin, who went straight into Lin Changqing's arms. Every time he saw these two little smart ones, Lin Changqing would be inexplicably happy and fed all of their 3-color deer with a nurturing spirit pill. Then he stroked the deer's fur, which really enhanced the relationship with his spiritual pets. The most significant effect is that Lu Yaoguang's family is now getting along with Lin Changqing like Lu Yaoqiang's family. Of course, this is also because Lin Changqing treats them equally. After playing with the deer for a while, Lin Changqing let them play by themselves, leaving only Lu Xiaoling and Lu Xiaomin with Lin Changqing. He waved to Zhao Linyu, who was standing aside. "Subordinate, meet the master." Zhao Linyu stepped forward to greet him. Lin Changqing nodded and said, "No need to be polite. I came here this time to fulfill my promise to you. I have found the 2 giant period exercises that I promised you, and now I give them to you." After saying this, he took out 2 jade slips and handed them to Zhao Linyu. When Zhao Luwen heard this, he was ecstatic and quickly took the 2 jade slips from Lin Changqing very respectfully. Then Lin Changqing continued, "These 2 techniques are the techniques that Qingyuan sect specially provides for inner disciples to practice. But don't worry about this problem. These 2 techniques are widely circulated, and Qingyuan sect has no way to trace their origins now. These 2 techniques are Jiuyu Thick Earth Sutra and Qingmu Changsheng Sutra, and Changsheng Sutra is the core technique of our family. But considering that you are practicing wood-attributed techniques, I still give your Qingmu Changsheng Sutra. Thank you for your kindness, Master. I will remember it in my heart and will never forget it." Zhao Linyu knelt on one knee in front of Lin Changqing and said to him devoutly. Lin Changqing nodded and said, "It's nothing. I just fulfilled my promise to you. There is nothing to do recently. You can convert the fundamental method before you build your foundation." Zhao Linyu nodded and agreed. Lin Changqing took out 2 jade boxes from the storage bag. These were the 2 spiritual medicines that had just been opened and could be planted again, and a green spiritual vine seed. He handed them to Zhao Linyu together, and she knew how to deal with them. Then Lin Changqing began to inspect the inner space. Since the 2 families of Lu Yaoqiang and Lu Yaoguang, the spiritual plants in the inner space have grown very well. The lush and green spiritual plants still look very pleasing to the eye, and some of the spiritual medicines and spiritual plants are already mature. If they are not picked, they can be kept for a longer time. When they can no longer be kept, Zhao Linyu will collect them and put them in the yard, the room where Lin Changqing puts the spoils. It took some time to inspect and he was very satisfied. Fortunately, he encountered the 3-color deer. If he relied on himself alone, the spiritual plants in the inner space would definitely not be of this scale. After the inspection, he returned to the vicinity of the yard and saw the fruit trees he had planted at the beginning. There were layers of fruits hanging on them. Especially on the spiritual peach tree, there were the most spiritual peaches hanging. This kind of plot really makes people feel happy. Lin Changqing couldn't help it himself, and picked them himself, and finally made a large jade box to hold the spiritual fruits. He also gave 2 to Lu Xiaoling and Lu Xiaomin who had been following him. He packed some spiritual peaches, spiritual apricots, and long fruits for himself, but he didn't dare to pick too many. He would come in and pick them when he wanted to eat. After entering the yard, he saw that Su Miniang's room was still closed, so Lin Changqing didn't bother her. After putting some extra things on his body in the room dedicated to the spoils, Lin Changqing prepared to exit the inner space. Chapter 277, All Things Have Feelings. Suddenly thinking of how many pets he still had, Lin Changqing roughly calculated in his mind that it seemed that he had not visited the family of the earth armor beast Jin Yi for more than 20 days. Taking advantage of the time now and being in the inner space, he communicated with Lin Changqing in his mind and asked it to send him to the mine. Now he was in the room where the spoils were placed, and he directly took out 400-year-old red fruits and put them in the storage. Soon, after a short while, Lin Changqing gave him feedback and said that they had arrived. Lin Changqing directly exited the inner space and indeed arrived at the Yellow Earth Crystal Mine. He walked along the mine for a distance with ease. Soon he saw 5 bright yellow figures. This color was too recognizable. 3 smaller Tharmer beasts were mining, and Jin Yi, Jin and Jin Yu were watching them from behind, sorting out the yellow earth crystals in the pile of stones. However, when Lin Changqing arrived, the 3 smaller Tharmer beasts immediately went on strike, and then ran over and surrounded Lin Changqing, with great interest. Lin Changqing was also very happy. He touched this and that, and first fed each of them a nurturing spirit pill. Then he found a suitable place, took out a large piece of monster meat from the storage bag, cut it into strips, and fed it to the 3 little guys squeezed beside him. It must be because they haven't been here for too long. The 3 little guys were eating voraciously and fighting for it. Fortunately, Lin Changqing prepared a lot of monster meat. When the 3 little ones were finally full, Jin Yi and Jin came over, touched their 2 big heads, and gave each of them 2 nurturing spirit pills. The pills were placed in the palm of his hand and brought in front of them. Swish, they disappeared, and were stuck to their long tongues. Jin Yi and Jin were bigger, so the monster meat didn't need to be cut so small, but their appetites were much bigger than those 3 little guys. Lin Changqing worked hard for a long time before he finally fed them. Looking at these 2 big guys, thinking that they were his spirit beasts, he still felt a sense of accomplishment. After stroking them for a while, although the feel was far worse than that of the 3-color deer, it was still necessary to have some. After all, this was a means for Lin Changqing to enhance his relationship with them. Then he collected the lowest crystal ore and put it directly into the spirit beast bracelet. Because he had not been here for more than 20 days, he dug up quite a lot of lowest crystal ore. After collecting all of it, the 300 cubic meters of space in the spirit beast bracelet was almost full, at least more than 80% and close to 90%. It is estimated that all the ore should be around 250 to 60 cubic meters, which is just enough to exchange for 4 more red fruits, but Lin Changqing only brought 4, and the extra ones will be accumulated and given together next time. He came to Jin Yi and Jin took out 2 red fruits, put them in front of Jin Yi, and swish, they disappeared. Then he took out 2 more red fruits and put them in front of Jin. Unexpectedly, it actually shook its head and gently pushed Jin Yi with its head. It signaled Jin Yi to eat the 2 red fruits in Lin Changqing's hand. This action made Lin Changqing's heart tremble violently. It made him feel what it means that all things have spirits and what it means that all things have emotions. At the same time, he also understood what Jin meant. It wanted to give its Zhu fruit to Jin Yi so that it could accumulate spiritual energy and prepare to advance to the 2nd level. However, Jin Yi did not accept its kindness and shook his head to refuse. Lin Changqing directly stuffed 2 Zhu fruits into Jin's mouth. They have been following him for a while. He originally planned to let them advance to the 2nd level after a while. Now he saw that they were impatient. Then Lin Changqing decided to go with the flow. Communicate with them through the contract and tell them that he was going to give them Beihuzuhan wine, which was the spiritual wine they took last time. Jin Yi and Jin immediately became excited and made a cry that was a bit like a baby crying, but you can hear from this sound that they are excited and happy. In this case, Lin Changqing did not waste time. He first put on a layer of spiritual light shield for himself, and then took out the Zuinun heavy water bottle. Considering that they are larger in size, they may need more spiritual energy to advance. Therefore, Lin Changqing specially doubled the amount of their 100 flowers soul intoxicating wine, which was almost the same as the amount given to the clan leader at that time. He directly sent 2 balls of soul intoxicating wine into their mouths, which made Jin Yi and Jin extremely grateful and excited. They kept rubbing Lin Changqing gently with their big heads. However, after a while, they fell into deep sleep. The lowest crystal mine cave where they are now is still quite safe. So Lin Changqing decided not to put them into the spirit beast bracelet. Besides, there are 3 smaller Tharmer beasts to protect them. If there's a problem, Lin Changqing can get here quickly through the contract, so he's still very relieved. He told the 3 little guys that their parents are in the process of advancing, and unless their parents wake up by themselves, they must not be disturbed. After getting the affirmative answer from the 3 little guys, Lin Changqing returned to the inner space with satisfaction. In order to prevent the lowest crystal ore from occupying the space inside the spirit beast bracelet, Lin Changqing immediately poured the more than 200 cubic meters of ore together with the previous ores. When checking the spirit beast bracelet, he happened to see Guo Dage, Guo Dafu and a few others. He had never had time to deal with them and almost forgot about these people. There was also a talisman maker among the 5 people. Originally, He wanted to open a small shop in Qinghai Market, which would also be convenient for him to meet Chen Ziya frequently. Unexpectedly, the clan leader and grandfather disagreed, so this talisman maker was useless. In addition, he was a middle-aged old man who was difficult to grasp and control, so Lin Changqing didn't spend that effort to subdue him. It can only be counted that he was unlucky, so he might as well deal with it together today. But before dealing with it, he had to make use of the waste. With a thought in his mind, he began to summon the families of Lu Yaoqiang and Lu Yaoguang, and soon 7 three-colored deer came to Lin Changqing. He brought them to the edge of the deep pit. That's right, Lin Changqing wanted to let Lu Yaoguang's family know the danger of this deep pit. He directly took Guo Daga out of the spirit beast bracelet. The environment suddenly changed. Guo Daga was still stunned for a moment, and then he immediately reacted. Lin Changqing was finally willing to pay attention to them. Brother, uncle, you are finally willing to pay attention to me. Please don't lock us in there anymore. It's really crazy. Let us do things for you. You really can let us do anything, Guo Daga hurriedly said and begged. After listening to what Guo Daga said, Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing. This old guy is still playing tricks on him. On the surface, he asked him not to lock them in a small space anymore, but in fact, he wanted to do things for Lin Changqing, which was equivalent to asking Lin Changqing to spare their lives. Unfortunately, in Lin Changqing's eyes, they are now of no value at all. Perhaps the only role is to provide a little warning to Lu Yaoguang's family. Lin Changqing didn't want to waste any more time on the dead man in his eyes. He communicated with Lu Yaoguang and his family in his heart, asking them to watch out for this man's fate, and never get close to this place, let alone fall down. Then he let go, causing Guo Daga to fall straight down. In fact, Guo Daga came out and looked around, and he had some bad premonitions in his heart. He just didn't expect Lin Changqing to be so ruthless, and threw him into a deep pit without saying a word to him. In a pitch-black environment, he then felt countless needle-like things piercing his body, which was very painful. And these needle-like things were still extracting something out, which scared him so much that he couldn't help but scream, but it soon stopped. Chapter 278 Three families arrive. The next thing was much simpler. He took out the remaining 4 robber cultivators from the spirit beast bracelet one by one and threw them directly into the deep pit. Screams echoed in the inner space. I believe that the deer should know the danger of this place this time. After spending some time to comfort Lu Yaoqiang, Lu Yaoguang and the 2 families, Lin Changqing withdrew from the inner space. It took more than 2 hours to go around the inner space and the ground armor beast. Now it was already late at night. It was getting late, so Lin Changqing was going to rest directly after completing the practice of the Thunder Sutra. He sat cross-legged and posed, and practiced the sutra. The next morning, Lin Changqing, as usual, completed the practice of the 5 Elements Chaos Sutra and flew directly to Aoyan Peak. In fact, sometimes, he was thinking about whether to get Lu Xiaoling out and put him here in Aoyan Peak to help him work. Later, I thought about it and decided to forget it. I can't expose a lucky animal like the 3-colored deer casually. Although it is in the family, I still have to keep a low profile. And it's good to plant a field by myself. I can cultivate my sentiments after practicing. It took more than an hour to complete today's task of promoting the birth of spiritual medicine. The next time was relaxed. I sat in the pavilion, brewed a pot of green jade tea for myself, took out the spiritual medicine atlas and continued to read it. I have read about 2/3 of it. After reading the spiritual medicine atlas, I will start to read the first level pill recipe. That thing is the key to alchemy. It contains the main medicine, auxiliary medicine, order of release, time, heat, and a series of issues. He also started to practice the spells and magic formulas needed for the fandom. It is estimated that in about 10 days and half a month, he can practice those spells or magic formulas to the entry level. However, if you want to practice to a small success, it will take at least 3 to 6 months. So if Lin Changqing wants to make pills by himself earlier, he can go to find 6th Grandpa after reading the Spiritual Medicine Atlas and the first level pill recipe. As long as you pass his assessment, you can move on to the next step and observe the alchemy. In fact, you only need to watch it a few times to learn it. So you can start making the alchemy in about 20 days at the earliest. Of course, others will wait until the spells and magic notes required for alchemy are practiced to a small degree before they start making the alchemy. But you can blame Lin Changqing for being a rich man. He doesn't even care about some ordinary first-level spiritual medicines. He picked up the spiritual medicine atlas and began to read it carefully. Before he knew it, 2 hours had passed. When he raised his head again, it was already noon. At this time, he happened to see Uncle Ben, who was on duty with his father, flying directly to the place where the clan leader was in seclusion. There were also 2 other uncles who flew directly to Bakeo Garden and Lingdon Pavilion. They were probably going to find their grandfather and 6th grandfather. Seeing this, Lin Changqing's heart moved, knowing that something must have happened in the mountain protection formation, so he did not dare to delay any more time, and directly asked all the first-level purple crystal scorpions of Aoyan Peak to gather at the big rock where they were basking in the sun. Then he rushed to the territory of the purple crystal scorpions and put them all into his spirit beast bracelet. As for the 10-second level purple crystal scorpions, they have always been in his spirit beast bracelet. After checking that there was nothing missing, he flew directly to the mountain protection formation on his sword. When he was about to approach the formation, the clouds in front of him automatically split open a passage. Lin Changqing followed this passage and soon saw his father Lin Maosheng and several uncles who were on duty together. After Lin Changqing greeted them, he asked, "Father, is there something wrong?" The father nodded, glanced at Lin Changqing and said, "Kinger, you came at the right time. Li Yaowang, the eldest elder of the Li family, Zhao Fengnian, the foreign affairs elder of the Zhao family, and Shi Futing, the head of the Shi family, are now outside our mountain gate in mountain protection formation. Among the 3 people who came to pay homage to the mountain, 2 are in the great perfection of key refining, and 1 is in the late stage of foundation establishment. Now I have asked your uncle and the other 3 to notify the clan leader and your grandfather. Now let's wait for the clan leader to come first. Let's not act rashly for the time being." Lin Changqing nodded, thought for a while and couldn't help but say, "The Li family was beaten so badly just now, and now suddenly there are cultivators from 3 families. Could it be that the 3 families have united?" The father thought for a while, shook his head, and said nothing. Soon the clan leader and the 2 grandfathers came, and the father explained the situation to them directly. Several uncles present also said some of their own guesses, one by one. After that, the clan leader thought for a while and said, "Okay, you don't have to waste your thoughts here. If you want to know what their purpose is, just go out and find out. Zia Aliu and Shidai, come with me to meet them. Mao Sheng and Zia Kinger, don't come out." Everyone agreed, and after the clan leader and the other 3 went out, without anyone reminding him, my father opened a few small cracks in the formation so that everyone could hear the conversation outside. 3 Lin Daoists, you are a little slow. We have been waiting here for a long time. This is not a way to entertain guests. Shi Futing, the head of the Shi family, took the lead in joking. He obviously wanted to create a more relaxed communication environment. The clan leader glanced at the 3 people, and his eyes stayed on the cultivators of the Zhao and Li families for a while. Then he said to Shi Futing, as the head of the clan, "Shi Daoya must have a lot of affairs on weekdays. He suddenly visited at this time. There must be something important. Why not speak directly?" Shi Futing saw the straightforward attitude of the head of the Lin family and knew that he didn't want to play dumb with him. So he nodded and said, "Okay. It seems that the head of the Lin family is a straightforward person, so I will say it straight. I heard that there were some misunderstandings between the Zhao, Li and Lin families some time ago, and there was a big conflict a few days ago. I came here this time because I was invited by the Zhao and Li families. I want to mediate between your 3 families and see if you can resolve the misunderstandings. You have been neighbors for hundreds of years. There is no need to make the relationship so stiff, lest the ordinary key refining period members of the families be scared when they go out." After listening to Shi Futing's words, the patriarch understood their intentions, but if they wanted to fight, they would fight. Now that they can't win, it is not so easy to negotiate peace. So he said expressionlessly, "If the foundation building monks of their 2 families teamed up to ambush and sneak attack, Lin Maoxiang, a member of the Lin family's foundation building period, would be seriously injured and killed. The 6 foundation building monks of the Zhao and Li families, divided into 3 groups, set up an ambush between Pingyangfang City and Jiufeng Mountain, ready to kill ordinary key refining monks of the Lin family. If this is also considered a misunderstanding, then I can only say that this misunderstanding is too big, and fellow Taoist Shi can't make it up," the patriarch said coldly. After listening to the words of the head of the Lin family, Shi Futing was also a little surprised. He knew that the two families were preparing to ambush the foundation-building monks of the Lin family. But they didn't mention it twice before, directly attacking the key refining period. So he asked the monks of the Zhao and Li families with a half-true and half-false expression of surprise, "You too, fellow Taoist Lin, is what you said true?" Chapter 279, Be Ready for War. Zhao Fengnian, the foreign affairs elder of the Zhao family, had never expected that the Lin family knew this matter so clearly. It was obvious that at least one of the two captives had betrayed the Li family, and the most likely one was Li Denning, who had just established his foundation. As for the clan leader Li Yaozong, he believed that he was the least likely to betray the family. But they could never admit the problem mentioned by Lin Qinglong, the head of the Lin family. This was no longer a matter of destroying the balance in tacit understanding. Instead, it had broken through certain limits in the world of immortal cultivation, so it could only be covered up with a spring and autumn style of writing. So he opened his mouth to explain, "Our two families did attack the foundation-building cultivators of the Lin family, but the cultivators of the Lin family in the key refining stage were not hurt at all." Li Yaoxiang, the eldest elder of the Li family, was worried that the conflict would be intensified again, so he quickly said, "Senior Lin, this time it was indeed our two families that received some wrong guidance. That's why these bad things happened, and we have paid a heavy price. Now we have realized the reasons for our mistakes. This time, our two families even invited Senior Shi Feuding, the head of the Shi family, to come out and mediate, and we came to the Lin family with full sincerity. We just want to apologize to the Lin family, and the hostility between each other, and restore the previous relationship between the three families." The other people in the Lin family finally understood now. It turned out that the three people on the opposite side came to seek peace. The patriarch and the two grandfathers looked at each other and reached a tacit understanding in an instant. Sixth grandfather got into the state instantly, and said with a face full of anger, "For your own interests, you two families have broken the balance in tacit understanding that the other families in Pingyang Prefecture have been working hard to maintain. Now that you can't beat us, you invite people to come to your house to talk about peace talks, apologize and restore relations. Is there such a good thing? What do the foundation-building monks of the Lin family who were killed by you say? What do their families say? All the clansmen of the Lin family have been on guard against war at all times and dare not relax for a moment. What do you say about the time and energy they have wasted?" Zhao Fengnian and Li Yaoxiang looked at each other, and after hearing what the sixth elder of the Lin family said, they also understood what he meant. He just wanted compensation and benefits. Since he meant it, then there were the innate conditions for peace talks. This made the two of them feel a little relieved. Finally, Li Yaoxiang said, "Please rest assured, our two families really came here with great sincerity this time. We are all prepared for the questions that Elder Lin just mentioned, but the mountain gate is really not a suitable place to talk. Should we find a formal place to talk in detail?" Shi Feuding also said at this time, "Yes. Since the Zhao and Li families have been emphasizing that they came with sincerity. In my opinion, let's find a suitable place to have a good talk first. Maybe we can get a satisfactory result for the three families. Besides, it's not a solution for us to crowd here at the mountain gate." The patriarch thought about it for a while, and still said, "Okay. Considering that the Shi family has been an old neighbor for hundreds of years, and the two sides have not had any major conflict so far, give fellow Taoist Shi a face. Let's go to the Lin family meeting room to talk." After speaking, he raised his hand and cast a spell on the formation, and the clouds in front of them immediately split open, leading directly to Jiufeng Mountain. Then the clan leader and the two grandfathers flew in first, and the other three looked at each other and followed behind. The conversation outside the mountain gate was heard very clearly by all the people on duty in the mountain protection formation. Since the three people on duty came to seek peace, there should be no danger in theory. However, even so, Lin Changqing's father still explained to the other people on duty, and then pulled Lin Changqing. The two came to the family meeting room, which was actually next to the family square. The father and son found a suitable place near the meeting room to sit down, and Lin Changqing took out the tea set and began to brew green jade tea. In his opinion, since the three people had entered the Lin family and were prepared, they would not be stupid enough to take action here, so they were most likely here just to pretend. Father Lin Maoshe glanced at him and didn't say anything. Although the two came here to guard, they were just to be on the safe side, but they all knew that the peace talks would involve a lot of content, which could not be explained in a few words. Therefore, it would take at least several hours, or even several days, so he did not stop Lin Changqing from making tea, but instead enjoyed it. "Dad, it's time for tea." Lin Changqing brought a cup of green jade tea to his father. His father nodded, took a sip, and was a little surprised. He couldn't help asking, "You kid, do you usually drink such good second-level spiritual tea?" Lin Changqing suddenly realized that he had never given his father green jade tea before, and he would find an opportunity to give him a box next time. But he couldn't tell the truth now, so he quickly said, "Of course not. These spiritual teas are the spoils of war I captured. Isn't it rare to drink tea with you, Dad? Hurry up and take it out for you to taste." His father nodded and said, "What's the name of this second-level spiritual tea? It's really good. Do you have any more to take out and have a look? It seems that the name should be green jade tea." "There's only this little bit left," Lin Changqing answered, then took out a box of green jade tea he used and handed it to his father for inspection. Unexpectedly, after the father took a look, he directly received his storage bag, and then said to Lin Changqing, "You are only at the first level. You don't need to drink the second-level spiritual tea. I will help you drink this, just as your filial piety to me." Lin Changqing didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He originally wanted to find an opportunity to send a complete box to his father, but he didn't expect that he took the half box himself. Okay, I'll honor you. I still have some spiritual fruits here, just right with the spiritual tea." After saying that, Lin Changqing took out a box of spiritual fruits he picked in the inner space. The father also liked the spiritual fruits very much, and he didn't forget to ask Lin Changqing to leave some for his mother and aunt. Then the father and son began to chat casually. Of course, the main attention of the two was still on the family meeting room. Unexpectedly, they sat there for half a day, and when it was dark, the clan leader and the two grandfathers sent the three people out of the family mountain protection formation. It seems that the result should be good, otherwise the clan leader would not send them away in person. Otherwise, at most he would let the grandfather or the sixth grandfather send them off. Now that there is a result, Lin Changqing and his son don't need to wait here. After packing up, they went home directly. After a while, Grandpa also came back. In fact, within a few hours, most people in the Lin family knew about the arrival of the three families. Including aunt and mother, everyone wanted to know how the discussion went in the end and what results they had achieved for the family. However, Grandpa indicated that they should finish the spiritual meal first, so everyone could only suppress their curiosity for the time being. Today's spiritual meal is still very rich. Mother and aunt knew that there was something going on in the family today, and several people in the family participated. So they prepared more abundant food, including Lin Changqing's favorite 8-treasure chicken soup, as a reward for them. After everyone had finally finished their spiritual meal, my aunt couldn't help but ask, "Dad, how did the talk go?" "What was the result?" Grandpa said with a smile on his face. "Not bad. Your 14th brother was seriously injured and died. The Zhao and Li families compensated your 5th uncle's family with 60,000 low-grade spiritual stones, and the matter is settled." When my father heard this, he couldn't help but exclaimed, "Ah," and then said, "With just these few spiritual stones, are we going to let them go?" Grandpa glared at him and said, "You didn't hear the end, but you were startled there. You have already established your foundation and become a father. Learn to be more stable in the future." Then, he ignored him and continued, "What I just said was that Mao Xiang's matter was settled, not the family's matter. Understand? Listen carefully. This time, their two families compensated Yunqian County to our family, so that our family's territory will have 4 counties, and we will be able to obtain more resources in the future. And within a month, their two families will move all the ordinary people in Yunqian County away, and ensure that no family related to them will be left behind. From now on, our own common people will have more places and scopes to choose from when it comes to settling down, getting married, and getting married." Chapter 280 Redemption. At this time, Lin Changqing couldn't help but ask, did they forget the two foundation-building captives? Did the Li family's patriarch not want them anymore? Or did the conditions for the negotiation already include the cost of redeeming them? Grandpa looked at Lin Changqing with relief, and continued, "Your 6th grandfather, the patriarch, and I all agreed to let them redeem Li Yaozong. That Li Denning has seen you in those purple spirit scorpions, although he has not seen your true face. But in the three-family foundation-building war, In such a dangerous situation, there was also a key refining cultivator who appeared near the gate of Li's mountain. It's not easy to cover up, so we can't let him go back anyway. We have already insisted that Li Denning couldn't bear the torture and died. Your sixth grandfather and the patriarch both think that protecting you now is more important than anything else. Hearing this, Lin Changqing felt warm in his heart, and once again felt the family's attention and protection for him. At this time, he suddenly thought of an important issue. He had lent 2 first-level purple crystal scorpions to his sixth grandfather that day, and he had to make this clear quickly. He quickly said, "Grandpa, I lent 2 spirit scorpions to sixth grandpa that day. That Li Yaozong should have seen my purple spirit scorpion." Grandpa shook his head and said with a smile, "Don't worry. This is not a problem. Li Yaozong has not woken up since he was injured and fell into coma in the battle that day. Your sixth grandpa and the clan leader have used many methods in the past 2 days, but they have not been able to wake him up. It seems that he should be seriously injured. The clan leader judged that his soul might be injured, so he has been in a coma. And whether the Zhao and Li families can find spiritual medicine to treat the soul and cure Li Yaozong is still an unknown question. Even if they are lucky enough to find it, they may not be willing to spend hundreds of thousands of spirit stones to treat him. So the 2 spirit scorpions that your sixth grandpa borrowed have not had time to show up yet. This is also the reason why we agreed to let them redeem Li Yaozong." Hearing this, Lin Changqing was relieved, and couldn't help asking, "What did they use to redeem Li Yaozong?" Grandpa said proudly, "After arguing for a long time, we finally let them collect an integer, 100,000 low-grade spirit stones." After hearing this, Mother couldn't help but sigh. This is equivalent to 2 foundation establishment pills. I didn't expect the Li family to have so many spirit stones. Grandpa shook his head and explained, "I guess they should have taken out all their family assets, and the Zhao family also helped to bear part of the burden. Otherwise, it would not be so easy to collect these 160,000 spirit stones." At this time, Sister Lin Changqing suddenly asked, "Grandpa, is this the end of this matter?" Grandpa thought for a while before speaking, barely considered it. "Li Yaozong has been taken away by them. Now we just have to wait for next month for them to hand over Yunshan County to us, and then it will be over." As soon as Grandpa finished speaking, his sister cheered, then squeezed next to Lin Changqing, took his hand, and shouted happily, "Brother, brother, brother." When his sister asked that question just now, he knew it would be like this, so he was mentally prepared. He couldn't help but chuckled and said, I know. I'll talk to the clan leader these 2 days, and then I'll ask Chang Hao, Chang Lian and others to see if they want to go together." The younger sister cheered, "Great, brother. Then I'll go ask Sister Chang Lian if she wants to go together." Okay, wait until I ask the clan leader tomorrow, and after he agrees, you can ask Chang Lian." Lin Changqing hurriedly stopped his sister from going to the 5th grandfather's house now. Now the family will not stop Lin Changqing from taking his sister to the market to play for a few days, and will not worry about it. Instead, they should worry about those who dare to make plans for them. After finishing the business, everyone chatted for a while, and after eating the spiritual fruit that Lin Changqing took out, they went back to practice and refine. Lin Changqing came to the practice room at home. He didn't expect that the matter would pass like this. He thought he had to be prepared for a long-term confrontation. Unexpectedly, it ended with the Zhao and Li families paying compensation and seeking peace, which was a bit beyond Lin Changqing's expectations. However, it was good that he didn't have to fight all day long. Having a relatively stable cultivation environment was very important to him now. At least, he could practice and polish this spiritual energy with peace of mind and prepare for the foundation building. Of course, he would not fall behind in other aspects. He calmed down and started to practice. This afternoon, he and his father had been guarding the family meeting hall, and the originally scheduled magic practice was delayed. It was still early, so he could make up for it. After completing this task and practicing the Thunder Sutra, he could rest. The next morning, after completing the basic practice, he wanted to find the clan leader, but based on the experience from his grandfather, he estimated that the clan leader might still be practicing at this time. Therefore, Lin Changqing went to Aoyan Peak first. After spending more than an hour to finish the work in the spiritual field, he rested in the pavilion for a while. Then he got up and flew straight to the main peak to the place where the clan leader was practicing in seclusion. When he got there, the restriction on the door did not open automatically. Lin Changqing knew that the clan leader might still be practicing, so he did not touch the restriction on the door. He found a place to sit down at the door, took out the spiritual medicine atlas and continued to read it, and was immersed in it unconsciously. He didn't know how long it took before he became interested. There was something unusual around him. He looked up and saw the clan leader looking at him with a smile. Lin Changqing quickly stood up and greeted him. "Hello, clan leader." The clan leader nodded with a smile and said, "Zio Kinger, you came here early in the morning. What do you want to talk to me about?" Lin Changqing nodded and said, "Clan leader, I want to take my sister Lin Changqing to the market to play for a few days. She has never gone out to play since she grew up. She has always been looking forward to and yearning for the market, so I want to take her to play." When the clan leader heard what Lin Changqing said, his brows frowned. Unexpectedly, Lin Changqing came to him to talk about this matter. He valued Lin Changqing and his sister very much. They are too important to the Lin family. He really doesn't want them to leave Jiufeng Mountain casually. But he also understands that it is not realistic to keep these young cultivators at home all the time. In addition, Lin Changqing also had those second-level spirit scorpions to protect him, and his actual combat power was the best in the entire clan, so relatively speaking, he was more relieved. After thinking it through, he asked, "When do you plan to leave, and how long will it take?" Lin Changqing thought about it and said, "How about we leave the day after tomorrow morning, just go to the market to play for 3 days, and then come back. And by then, Changji, Changhao, Changlian and others may also go there. With more people, everyone can take care of each other." The clan leader nodded and told Lin Changqing seriously, "I can agree that you can go out and play for a while, but since you are going, you have to keep an eye on them. Especially your sister Lin Changqing, you have to bring them back the same way you took them out." Chapter 281 Calling Friends. Lin Changqing understood what the clan leader meant, and also promised earnestly, "Don't worry, clan leader, I have also been out there for a while. And with a second-level spirit scorpion in hand, it is not a problem to take care of several brothers and sisters. I promise to bring back as many people as I go out." The clan leader nodded and said, "Okay. I agree, you go. Just remember to come back on time." Lin Changqing smiled and thanked the clan leader, then said goodbye and left. He was going to go home directly to tell his sister the good news. When he returned to his yard, he looked around but couldn't find his sister. After asking his mother, he found out that she went to play with Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing was very familiar with the homes of several friends. He often went there to play when he was a child, so Lin Changqing went directly to Lin Changlian's house to find them. Unexpectedly, he didn't find the two of them when he arrived at her house. He asked the fifth grandfather, and he said that his sister had been there, but only stayed for a while, and then went out with Lin Changlian. Hearing that they went out again, Lin Changqing just thought about it for a while and roughly guessed where they went. Flying the sword straight to Aoyan Peak, Chuai and Chuer flew over halfway, flying back and forth beside Lin Changqing. It seemed that they wanted to play with Lin Changqing. However, Lin Changqing had already seen the people in the yard. 4 or 5 people gathered together. It was Lin Changji, Lin Changqing and others. It was probably Lin Changlian who called them here. Since he had seen them in the yard, Lin Changqing was not in a hurry, and decided to play with Chuai and Chuer for a while, just like before, flying around Aoyan Peak to chase Chuer. But he couldn't catch up no matter what. Lin Changqing knew that even if Chuer was a little slower, he couldn't catch up. After all, Garuda was much more specialized than him in flying, so he didn't mind if he couldn't catch up, just as practicing flying with his sword. He played with Chuai and Chuer in the air for a long time, and satisfied his craving for flying. Then he pressed the sword light and landed in the yard. Ninth brother, it seems that you are the most comfortable as a spiritual plant master. Apart from cultivation, you can farm, drink tea, read books, and play with birds. You have an easy life. We are so envious, fifth brother Lin Changji said jokingly. Yes. Ninth brother, among all of us brothers and sisters, you are the most comfortable. I wish I had become a spiritual plant master earlier, sixth brother Lin Changqing sighed. After hearing what they said, Lin Changqing laughed. Fifth brother, sixth brother, stop joking. You also have wood spiritual roots. If you want to be a spiritual plant master, it's not too late. Fifth brother shook his head and said, I'm learning alchemy. I can't give up halfway, otherwise, my father will beat me to death. Sixth brother is practicing wood attributed exercises. You can consider ninth brother's suggestion. Sixth brother also shook his head and said, I can't do it either. My personality is not suitable for being a spiritual plant master. I can't calm down. Don't stand there and talk about nonsense. Ask me the most important question. Ninth brother. You went to see the clan leader just now, right? Does he agree that we go to the market for a few days? Lin Changqing asked hurriedly. Sister Lin Changqing also asked with anticipation, brother. How is it? Did the clan leader agree to let me go out and play? Lin Changqing nodded and said with a smile, of course he agreed. If I go personally, it will be easy. I convinced the clan leader in just a few words. Not only you, but also a few of you, I have made an agreement with the clan leader. Anyone who wants to go can go. We will set off early the day after tomorrow morning and come back after playing for 3 days. But the clan leader asked me to take good care of the brothers and sisters who are going with us, so when we go to the market, if we want to do something, we must go in groups of at least 2 or 3. Of course, it would be even better if we can act together. As soon as Lin Changqing finished speaking, everyone cheered, especially his sister Lin Changqing, who was so happy that she jumped directly on Lin Changqing, hugged his neck and cheered. After everyone cheered and vented, their emotions calmed down a bit, and Lin Changqing said, look at how happy and excited everyone is. Everyone should go, so let's agree to meet at the family square the day after tomorrow morning. Such a rare opportunity, we must go. Since the last time we went together, we haven't been out again. In the middle, there was a beast tide and the situation was suddenly tense. The family was ready to fight. The 10th brother Lin Changqing sighed. The others were almost in the same situation, and they all said that there was no problem and they would meet at the family square on time. Then everyone sat together and discussed going to the market, and Lin Changqing, as the host, brewed spiritual tea to greet everyone. However, his green spiritual tea had been taken away by his father, so he could only take out some ordinary spiritual tea found in the spoils to greet everyone. Fortunately, everyone didn't mind, and they were more discussing going to Pingyang market the day after tomorrow. Maybe everyone hadn't been out for too long, and now they are in a very high spirit. Lin Changqing thought it was good, and it was not bad to have a small gathering of 3 or 5 friends from time to time to add some fun to the ordinary life. Seeing his friends' high interest, Lin Changqing couldn't help but join the discussion. In the end, they even arranged the itinerary for the 3 days, which shows everyone's expectations. The time spent together by the friends passed quickly. 3 or 4 hours passed in a flash. When it was almost evening, everyone left Aoyan Peak together. After returning to the main peak, the friends said goodbye and went home. Lin Changqing and his sister walked at the end. Along the way, the sister was still chattering about her plans. She wanted to try this and visit that. She was looking forward to it. Suddenly, Lin Changqing remembered something and couldn't help laughing, so he asked, little sister, you have so many ideas. Do you have enough spirit stones in your storage bag? You can't play without spirit stones. You can only watch from the side. Lin Changqing was originally in high spirits, but she didn't expect Lin Changqing to do this to her. It almost extinguished her enthusiasm. To be honest, there were really no spirit stones in her storage bag. The biggest one was a piece of middle-grade fire spirit stone Yuankuang, which was specially used for her cultivation. Although she knew that it could be exchanged for several thousand low-grade spirit stones. She was not stupid. Knowing that Lin Changqing had been robbed and killed because of this thing, she knew that she could not take it out in the market even if she was beaten to death. However, when she looked up and saw her brother Lin Changqing, with a half-smile on his face, she instantly understood, and immediately used the method of acting like a spoiled child, holding Lin Changqing's hand and pestering him all the way. After finally reaching the gate of her own yard, Lin Changqing finally agreed to let her come back to him after she had finished the spiritual meal. Lin Changqing then let him go, happily ran into the study room yard, and shared the good news of going out to the market to play with her mother and aunt. Lin Changqing found a place to sit in the yard and was preparing spirit stones for the little girl Lin Changqing. After considering it, Lin Changqing put 800 low-grade spirit stones and 2 middle-grade spirit stones in a storage bag. It would be inappropriate to have more. After all, she is only at the 5th level of key refining. Lin Changqing estimated that his friends should have only a few hundred or 1,000 spirit stones in their storage bags, at most. It would be enough to give Lin Changqing the same amount as them. Today, everyone happened to be together. After finishing the spiritual meal, Lin Changqing thought the timing was just right. He said, I have good news to tell you all. Today, I have obtained the consent of the clan leader. The day after tomorrow morning, I will take Changqing and a few friends to Pingyang Market for 3 days. Mother and aunt knew about it earlier, but they didn't say anything. When the father heard it, his first reaction was still a little worried, but suddenly he thought that his son was much better than himself, and now he should be worried about the people who met him. So he let go of his mentality and cheerfully ordered, "Okay, go. Remember to keep an eye on your sister, don't play too long, and go back early." Chapter 282 Gifts from Family. Grandpa is not worried about Lin Changqing at all now, but he still can't help but instruct, "Kinger, you have the help of some spiritual scorpions, although you are powerful now. But when you are outside, you still have to be low-key and humble. Try not to cause unnecessary troubles. You must know that there are mountains outside the mountains, and there are people outside the people. I believe you understand." Lin Changqing nodded and agreed. "Grandpa, father, mother, and aunt, don't worry. I never take the initiative to cause trouble, it's others who bump into me and die. I have never done anything bad since I grew up." Especially the last sentence, it was said in a sonorous and righteous way, as if he had never done it. Hearing him say this, everyone laughed. Unexpectedly, at this time, the aunt suddenly said, "When you were a child, you wanted to steal the spiritual fruit at the door of others. Is this considered a bad thing?" As soon as these words came out, everyone burst into laughter, and Lin Changqing laughed so hard that she fell on the chair holding her stomach. Lin Changqing's face turned red. After saying a few polite words, he slipped back to his room. After waiting for a while, his sister Lin Changqing came to knock on the door. Lin Changqing handed her the prepared spiritual stones and sent her away. Otherwise, she might deliberately mention the embarrassing things he did when he was a child. However, he was also speechless. He had an aunt who took care of him, watched him grow up, and loved to tease him. Lin Changqing had no choice. Shaking his head, he put all these messy emotions behind him, activated the small 5-element maze in the room, and entered the inner space directly. He came in this time because he had run out of green jade tea, and the remaining half-box was taken away by his father. He had been drinking green jade tea for so long that he had gotten used to it. In the future, unless he found a higher level and better third-level spiritual tea, he would mainly drink this spiritual tea. The ordinary spiritual teas that were brewed for the friends at Aoyan Peak just now were not suitable for his taste at all, and he was not used to drinking them, so he came in specially to get 2 boxes of green jade tea this time. Zhao Liaoyu had prepared several boxes in advance and put them in the room where the spoils were stored. This time, he did not stay in the inner space for a long time, so he just dealt with a deer, fed them each a spiritual pill, and then left again with his things. Because the friends came to Aoyan Peak for a small gathering today, the magic skills that were originally scheduled to be practiced were also delayed. So after Lin Changqing left the inner space, he hurried to the practice room to make up for the practice of magic skills. Then he returned to his room and practiced a Thunder Sutra for more than 2 hours, consuming all his energy. After insisting on cleaning himself up, he fell asleep as soon as he laid down. Early the next morning, after completing the practice, Lin Changqing flew straight to Aoyan Peak. On the first and second days of the new year, they disappeared again. He estimated that they should go out to find food, so he was not worried about them. In Jiufeng Mountain, when the golden winged bird was seen, the tribesmen must know that it was raised by Lin Changqing and his family, so nothing would happen. He spent more than an hour at the spiritual field, completing the task of promoting the birth of spiritual medicine today. Then he returned to the pavilion in the yard, brewed a pot of green jade tea for himself, and then took out the spiritual medicine catalog. He planned to spend the rest of the day here, and try to finish reading the spiritual medicine catalog in his hand. This way, one thing was completed, and then he could start reading the first-level pill recipe. The books he read were all the ones he was more interested in, and it was easier for him to get into them. He was addicted to them unconsciously. It was only on the first and second days of the first lunar month that he was interrupted by the noise coming back from outside. Lin Changqing got up, fed them some monster meat and nurturing pills, and then he went back to continue reading. Finally, in the evening, he finished reading the whole book. This spiritual medicine catalog contains about 700 or 800 kinds of spiritual medicine introductions, and the introductions in all aspects are very detailed. It's a thick book with 2,000 to 3,000 pages. It's not easy to finish reading it. I can take it out and flip through it occasionally in the future to prevent forgetting. In this way, I am one step closer to becoming a first-level alchemist. The next step is the first level pill recipe, which is only a dozen pages in total, which is much easier. However, he must wait until he comes back from Pingyang market. At this time, he's going to go home for dinner. After communicating with Chua and Shure, he put them into the spirit beast bracelet. After all, if he goes out early tomorrow morning, he will definitely need the warnings provided by Chua and Shure. They are the important guarantee for the safety of the journey. After packing up, he went straight home. Because Lin Changqing and his sister will leave Jiufeng Mountain tomorrow, this is also Lin Changqing's first time going out, so today the family prepared something for Lin Changqing. Except for Lin Changqing, who gave it yesterday, everyone else took it out after finishing the spirit meal today. The mother touched her little sister's head and said, "Linger, you will leave home tomorrow. Here are some talismans that I prepared for you." After that, she took out a stack of talismans from the storage bag and handed them to her daughter Lin Changqing. She pointed at the talismans and introduced them. These 3 are first level earth escape talismans, and these 3 are first level wood escape talismans. Don't make the mistake with these 2. There are also 24 defense talismans, with a few for each attribute. Just take a look at them yourself, you shouldn't make a mistake. If you ever feel dangerous, just slap a few of them on your body. Don't worry about wasting, safety is the most important thing. After the mother finished speaking, the aunt also continued, "Zio Linger, talismans, magic tools, etc., have been prepared. So after thinking about it, the aunt still thinks that you need some spiritual stones when you go out, so I prepared 500 spiritual stones for you." After that, she took out a storage bag for Lin Changqing, which contained 500 spiritual stones. The younger sister happily took it and said, "Thank you, mother, and thank you." And the father chuckled, took out a red flying sword from the storage bag and handed it to Lin Changqing. "Your aunt has revealed what I wanted to give you, Linger. This top-grade fire flying sword is for you to defend yourself. Be careful when you go out. You must be smart and remember to listen to your brother." Lin Changqing took the flying sword and said happily, "Dad, don't worry. I'm smart. If anything goes wrong or is dangerous, I will run to my brother and he can protect me." Everyone laughed when they heard her say this. Then the grandfather also took out a yinlei bead, handed it to Lin Changqing, and said, "Linger, Grandpa knows that you know this thing, so I won't introduce it to you. Your brother will accompany you, and Grandpa is very relieved. Have fun and remember to come back early." Lin Changqing took the yinlei bead with both hands respectfully, and said proudly, "Thank you, Grandpa, I know this thing. It is a yinlei bead, and it is used in the same way as the yanlei zi. But this time my brother is here, so I shouldn't use it. This yinlei bead is kept in my box." Hearing Lin Changqing's words so old-fashioned, everyone was amused by her. Grandpa looked at his funny granddaughter and said with a smile, "Rest early today, remember to sacrifice the flying sword and yinlei bead." Lin Changqing agreed, and chatted and laughed with the family for a while, and then they went back to their rooms. Now that Lin Changqing is powerful, he doesn't think there will be any problems in going to Pingyang market. Moreover, the purple crystal scorpions of the first and second grades of the first lunar month were all in the spirit beast bracelet, so there was no need to prepare anything. So after Lin Changqing returned to his room, he continued to practice as usual, and rested when he needed to. Early the next morning, after Lin Changqing had completed his practice, he prepared to go to the living room to wait for his sister Lin Changqing. Unexpectedly, she was already waiting for him there, and she blamed Lin Changqing for coming out slowly. It seemed that she was very excited and enthusiastic about this trip. After the two said goodbye to their parents, they went straight to the family square. Unexpectedly, they were the first to arrive. Fortunately, they waited for a while, and the other 4 people came. Lin Changqing and his friends had a flying boat, which was the spoils of the last battle, and it was also the common property of the small team. It was kept by Lin Changqing, so everyone was looking at Lin Changqing now. Seeing that everyone was waiting for her, Lin Changqing chuckled and threw a flying boat from the storage bag. After activating the flying boat, she was the first to run up, and after everyone was seated, she drove the flying boat out of the mountain gate. Chapter 283 Suffering. Lin Changqing knew exactly which direction to fly in. After all, he had already had experience doing it once before, so he was familiar with the route. However, Lin Changqing was not careless. Not far from the mountain gate, he released Chua and Shure, letting them fly higher to give them an early warning. However, The journey was surprisingly smooth, and they did not meet anyone. They found a secluded place to rest in the middle and spent half an hour to recover their spiritual energy. Then at noon, everyone had already reached a place 2 miles outside of Pingyang Market. There would be basically no danger here. If someone took action in this place, it would be equivalent to provoking Kingyang sect, and no one dared to do so. Lin Changqing first recalled Shui and Shuer to the spirit beast bag, and then took Lin Changqing to the entrance of the market, handed in the spirit stone, and applied for an entry and exit certificate. Others already had it, but only Lin Changqing came for the first time, so she needed to apply for it. The group of 6 people successfully entered Pingyang Market. When they arrived here, Lin Changqing could no longer suppress her curiosity and was looking around. Seeing her like this, Lin Changqing couldn't help but chuckled and said to everyone, "Let's go. Go this way. Let's find a hotel first to solve the accommodation problem. What do you think about renting a yard that can accommodate the 6 of us? Okay, it's good for everyone to live together. Let's go quickly. If it's still early, we can go to the street stall square," 10th brother Lin Changqing urged. Others also said that they would rent a large yard and live together. It took a while for Lin Changqing to find a suitable hotel based on the general impression in his memory and rent a large yard with a training room. The price is not cheap. It costs 20 spirit stones a day. Living for a month is equivalent to the income of an ordinary member of the demon hunting team for more than half a year. Fortunately, they only lived for 2 days. After the shop assistant who led the way left, the 6 people quickly allocated the rooms. Anyway, they only stayed for 2 days, so there was no need to be so particular, so they divided them up at once. Lin Changqing said happily, "We're finally settled. It's still early, let's go to the street stall square and see if we can find anything good." His sister Lin Changqing was beside him and whispered, "Brother, my sister Changlian and I want to eat some animal offal." Lin Changqing had a headache, as having too many people would bring trouble, so he simply asked, "Now my 10th brother wants to go to the street stall square, and my sister and Changlian want to eat some animal offal. 5th brother, 6th brother, how are you going to arrange it?" After listening to Lin Changqing's words, Lin Changji and Lin Changqing discussed it, and Lin Changji said, "Then let's go with my 10th brother. There will be 3 of us on each side, so we can take care of each other." As soon as Lin Changji finished speaking, Lin Changlian and his sister cheered, obviously very satisfied with the arrangement. Lin Changqing couldn't help but glare at them, then nodded to Lin Changji and said, "Then listen to the arrangement of the 5th brother, let's do it this way for now. You guys be careful over there." At this time, Lin Changqing also said, "After we finish shopping, we should go to the family store here to see my father. If you have nothing to do, you can also go to our family's own store to have a look. It's not far from the street south of the street stall square, and its name is Lin Yaoj." Lin Changqing then remembered that the father of the 6th brother, Lin Maofu, who was ranked 7th in the Mao generation, was helping the family to manage the store, and he should be in Pingyang Market now. He hurriedly said, "Okay, according to reason, we younger generations should also go to pay a visit to the 7th uncle. We will go there if we have time in the next 2 days." So the 6 of them happily left the hotel together, and when they arrived at the door, they divided into 2 teams. One team went straight to the street stall square, while Lin Changqing and the other 2 wandered around in the market, looking for a spiritual food shop that sold animal miscellanea. Actually, they said they were looking for a Ling Shenfeng that sold animal miscellanea, but along the way, whenever they saw a store that interested them, they would go in to take a look. In particular, the Yuan Pavilion, which specializes in selling exquisite jade accessories, is still inside. They have been inside for almost half an hour. I really don't understand. There are only a few types of accessories. If you like them, just buy a few of each. In Lin Changqing's opinion, the things inside are all the same and have no great use. I really don't know what they are dawdling about. It seems that the 5th brother, the 6th brother, and the 10th brother have foresight and slipped away early, so they don't have to watch over them like Lin Changqing is boring. Unfortunately, even if they understand, they are still worried about letting them run around by themselves. Forget it, let your sister take care of herself. When they came out, it was another half an hour later. Lin Changqing couldn't help but said, "If you like these things, just buy a few of them. Don't waste so much time and energy on them." Hearing this, Lin Changqing glared at him and said, "Stupid brother, what do you know? We are choosing some suitable gifts for our mother and aunt. You are so boring that every time you come back, you only give your mother talisman paper and talisman-making materials." Lin Changqing's words made Lin Changqing speechless, while Lin Changqing beside him kept laughing. Okay. Just be happy," Lin Changqing said helplessly. He secretly made up his mind that he would never come again and suffer this torture. It's better to wait for Chen Ziyi to get married and let them go shopping by themselves. His sister and Lin Changqing wandered around happily, but only Lin Changqing felt that it was really hard to endure. He felt very tired when he just started to practice physical training, and he didn't know why the two of them were so interested. They walked and stopped along the way, and several hours passed. It was almost evening when they finally found the Lin Changqing that sold animal offal. Lin Changqing led them in and found a seat. He paid 3 spiritual stones and then brought 3 large bowls of animal offal to their table. "Eat. This thing is quite delicious. It's the first time I've eaten it. My second uncle took me there," Lin Changqing introduced. The younger sister and Lin Changqing nodded, and then started to eat. In fact, they were already hungry after walking around for so long. They devoured the big bowl in a short while. "Well, brother, this thing is really delicious. We want another bowl," Lin Changqing said to him happily. Lin Changqing nodded and bought 3 more bowls. Each of them ate 2 large bowls of animal offal, and the 3 of them walked out of the Lin Changqing with satisfaction. Lin Changqing was afraid that they would go shopping again, so he quickly said, "We have traveled for such a long time today, and we have been shopping for several hours in the afternoon. Let's stop here today. Let's go back to the hotel to rest first. We can go to the street stall square tomorrow. There are hundreds or thousands of stalls there, enough for you to shop for a long time." Lin Changqing hesitated and said, "Then why don't we go to the family store today to pay a visit to Uncle Qi? Too tired today. I don't have much energy. Let's wait until tomorrow morning. Just after paying a visit to Uncle Qi, we will go to the street stall square." Lin Changqing thought about it and said. Lin Changqing nodded and said nothing. Then the 3 of them slowly walked back to the hotel. After looking around, they found that Lin Changqing and the other 3 had not returned yet, so Lin Changqing was not worried about them. His sister pulled Lin Changqing into her room. They should have something to say in private. Lin Changqing ignored them and just told them to leave the hotel and tell him, and then he returned to the room assigned to him alone. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 284 Purple Smoke Inking It. As usual, he used his spiritual sense to carefully check the room twice, and then set up the small 5-element maze array. After activating the array, he sat on a chair to rest and brewed himself a pot of tea. "I was so tired this afternoon. I was tired. It felt more tiring than practicing the Thunder Sutra. I would never come again next time." He took a good rest for a while, and also solved the pot of spiritual tea. Then he began to practice magic spells, and continued to practice the Thunder Sutra after finishing. After all the practice was completed, it was already late at night. Lin Changqing went to the yard to take a look. The restrictions on their doors were all activated, proving that Lin Changqing and the other 3 had returned, so he was relieved. Everyone came out together, and his cultivation was the highest. Even if the clan leader did not ask him at the time, he naturally had the responsibility to take care of them. He returned to his room and lay down to rest with peace of mind. The next morning, after completing the practice, Lin Changqing came to the living room, but he did not expect his sister and Lin Changqing to be waiting there. "Brother, why do you always come so late?" the younger sister asked with disdain. Lin Changqing chuckled and said, "Why do we have to get up so early? It's just right to go now. If it's too early, Uncle Seven and his family probably won't open yet. What are you waiting for? Let's go to see Uncle Seven." Lin Changqing couldn't help asking, "Let's go now. Aren't you going to wait for Brother Five and his family?" "No, they've been there yesterday and won't be there today. Let them make their own arrangements," Lin Changqing said with a smile. The 2 nodded, and then followed Lin Changqing out of the hotel and walked directly towards the street stall square. Along the way, they had seen shops along the street, which were all opening one after another. When Lin Changqing and the other 2 found Lin Yaoj, all the shops on the street had already opened for business. When the 3 of them arrived at the door, They just happened to see Uncle Seven, Lin Maofu, and hurriedly greeted him. When he was a child, he often went to play at his sixth brother Lin Changqing's house, so Lin Changqing was quite familiar with Uncle Seven. "Hello, Uncle Qi. Nice to see you again. You seem to be a little more plump," Lin Changqing greeted with a smile. "Hello, Uncle Qi. Hello, Uncle Qi." My sister and Lin Changqing both greeted each other respectfully and formally. Uncle Qi, with a slightly fat belly, said with a smile, "Zio Kinger and Changlian are here. This should be your sister Changling. Everyone come to the store and sit down. Don't stand at the door. I expected you to come last night. Why did you wait until today?" "Yes. This is my precious sister Lin Changling. This time I mainly brought her to the market to see it, so that she won't keep talking about it. I went shopping with them too late yesterday, and it was not convenient to come here, so I just waited until early this morning. This is how it was when I first came to the market. I remember when my uncle brought me to Pingyang Market to be a shop assistant, I was excited for 2 or 3 days. I didn't expect that 30 years would pass in a flash," Uncle Qi sighed. "It's okay, you still look so young and handsome. Of course, it would be better if you could lose some weight," Lin Changqing joked. As soon as Lin Changqing finished speaking, several people laughed. Uncle Qi also laughed and scolded, "You kid, you just know how to fool me." Then he turned around and called his sister and Lin Changling, "Don't learn from this kid, he's so slick. Everyone come to the store. I'll give you a taste of my treasured spiritual tea." Then everyone went into the store together. The store was not too big. The storefront was 3 feet wide and 9 feet deep. It was considered medium-sized in Pingyang Market. After all, it was one of the 13 foundation building families in Pingyang Prefecture. The storefront was also a storefront, so it couldn't be too small. In addition, there were a few ordinary people in it who were specifically helping with chores, but Uncle Qi didn't introduce them, so Lin Changqing and the others didn't need to go over to say hello. Uncle Qi led Lin Changqing and the other two directly to the second floor of the store. After asking everyone to sit down, he took out his treasured spiritual tea from his storage bag and brewed it for everyone. However, Lin Changqing tasted it and found it was indeed quite good. It was considered to be one of the better first-level spiritual teas, but it was much worse than the green jade tea. Everyone sat together, drinking Uncle Qi's treasured spiritual tea, and listened to him talk about his experiences in the market and some recent events. Lin Changqing and the other two liked to listen to these contents. Later, the topic turned to what happened in the family this time. "Have the family issues been resolved?" I asked Changqing and the others yesterday what happened specifically, but they couldn't tell me the reason. Uncle Qi asked Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing nodded and said, "I know a little bit. It seems that the clan leader and the 2 grandfathers took out the treasures of the family and showed their power. In a few days, they beat the Zhao and Li families into a mess. A few days ago, I specially asked the clan leader of the Xu family, Xi Feuding, to act as a middleman, and the people of the Zhao and Li families came to Jiufeng Mountain to negotiate peace." Lin Changqing said everything he could say, and did not mention anything he could not say. He attributed all the credit and achievements to the clan leader and the 2 grandfathers. After listening to what Lin Changqing said, Uncle Qi suddenly realized something and said, "No wonder, it turned out that the treasures of the family were used. This is good. After fighting this battle, let others know that our Jiufeng Mountain Lin family is not easy to mess with." Then Uncle Qi did not ask more questions on this issue. It was probably because he knew that Lin Changqing and other juniors should not be so clear about the specific situation. So the content of the chat was still mainly about the changes in the family during this period, because he knew that his 14th brother Lin Maoxiang had passed away, and he also focused on comforting Lin Changlian and asked about her grandfather's situation in detail. The 3 of them did not stay in their own shop for too long. They just accompanied Uncle Qi to drink tea for more than an hour, and finally said goodbye and left on the pretext of going to the street stall square. Uncle Qi also asked them to come back to the shop at noon, and he would treat Lin Changqing and the other 3 to spiritual food, but they were all rejected. The street stall square is very close to their own shop. Uncle Qi also pointed out the way for them. It took less than half an hour and they arrived quickly. When the 3 of them arrived at a place, it was the busiest time of the day. At a glance, there were at least 600 or 700 stalls, plus people visiting the street stalls. So this street stall square now has at least 1,000 or 2,000 people gathered. When my sister and Lin Changlian saw such a lively scene, they were a little excited. They immediately joined the army of street vendors hand in hand, and Lin Changqing could only lag behind them by 2 steps, following closely behind them, while his eyes kept scanning the street stalls. After all, visiting street stalls was his favorite activity, and he had the most experience in this. Many of the good things on him were found on street stalls, such as the eggs of the purple crystal scorpion, the Zuanin heavy water bottle, and the stone eggs that only let spiritual energy in but not out. The younger sister and Lin Changqing walked in front and stopped frequently, mainly because they liked to look at some exquisite small things. Lin Changqing first looked for halo items, then spiritual medicines, spiritual plants and the like, and then spiritual crystals and talisman-making materials. He knew whether a street stall had what he wanted after just one glance, so he browsed for a while, and the 2 younger sisters in front of him had not yet opened their shops. He had already collected 7 spiritual medicines of 2 kinds, all of which were not available in this space. Although they were only first-level spiritual medicines, it was still a harvest. After browsing for a while, I estimated that about half of the stalls had more than a dozen spiritual medicines, and I was lucky enough to buy 2 rare purple smoke ink ingots. This is also a special material for making talismans, which can replace demon blood cinnabar, and can also increase the success rate when drawing some special spiritual talismans. It is the favorite of talisman makers. Sister and Lin Changqing finally got something. The 2 came across a small stall specializing in flower essences. The stall owner was 2 beautiful girls, but they were not the 2 that Lin Changqing knew. Chapter 285 Golden Spotted JB. My sister and Lin Changqing were immediately attracted to it. They smelled this one and that one. Then, as if they were afraid that they would not be able to buy it in the future, they bought more than a dozen bottles of flower essences with several different flavors. The 2 of them spent more than 800 spiritual stones in total, which made Lin Changqing's eyes jump. They were really 2 prodigal daughters. He bought so many spiritual medicines and 2 precious purple smoke ink ingots, but he only spent less than 800 spiritual stones. The 2 of them really didn't treat spiritual stones as spiritual stones. I saw Chen Ziyi buy a lot of this kind of flower essence on the passenger ship of Wanbao Pavilion before, and I wanted to buy some for my mother and aunt at that time. However, I thought of the top-grade anti-aging pills in my storage bag as gifts, so I didn't buy them. I didn't encounter them again later. Unexpectedly, my sister and Lin Changqing met them again today. Seeing that they bought a lot, I guess there should be some in them from my mother and aunt, so he didn't need to come forward to buy them. However, my sister and Lin Changqing were so extravagant with spiritual stones. He planned to find a suitable opportunity to talk about Lin Changqing when he returned to the family. We definitely can't talk about the past few days we've been out playing. We were originally very happy. If Lin Changqing brings this up now, it will definitely spoil the mood, so we can only keep this idea in mind. The 3 of them walked forward for a while and finally saw a different place in front of them. A circle of people surrounded a stall, and they could vaguely hear the voice of asking the stall owner to give them a discount. Seeing this situation, Lin Changqing knew that there must be something good in the stall, otherwise there wouldn't be so many people around. So this time, Lin Changqing took the lead and squeezed in, and his sister and Lin Changqing followed behind him. After squeezing in, it turned out to be a stall selling spiritual materials from monsters, but what everyone was looking at was not the spiritual materials on the stall, but 3 baby animals in a cage. 3 chubby and furry hurricane wolf cubs, and there was also a net bag-shaped magic weapon next to it, and the thing covered inside was a large honeycomb. The surface of the hive was densely crawling with yellow bees as big as thumbs. Just from what was seen outside, it was estimated that there were 300 or 400 first-level low-grade spirit bees. There was also a sign next to it, which read that the swift wolf cub was priced at 680 spirit stones each, and a nest of mutant topaz bees would give a first-level medium-grade net bag-shaped magic weapon, priced at 5,000 spirit stones. Many people around were interested in the swift wolf cub and the nest of mutant topaz bees. Especially the topaz bees, there were several people interested, and they kept surrounding the boss, trying to get him to lower the price. As soon as Lin Changqing saw the nest of bees, he made up his mind and prepared to take it. It was not because of the halo, nor because these topaz bees looked a little mutated. It was because the inner space needed a nest of bees to help spread pollen and so on, and it could also add some vitality to the inner space. Lin Changqing had always wanted to get a nest of spirit bees into the inner space, but unfortunately he had never encountered one. During the time he returned to the family, he had no chance. Besides, He also looked down on the ordinary spirit bees in the family, and now this nest just met his taste. The stall owner over there was probably annoyed by being pestered, and he shouted loudly, "This nest of mutant spirit bees is not mine alone. Several people in our team have already discussed it. This nest of mutant topaz bees is priced at 5,000 low-grade spirit stones, not a single spirit stone less. If you can't afford it, don't waste each other's time here. Anyway, whoever takes out 5,000 low-grade spirit stones will own this nest of topaz bees. Don't bother here." At this time, a monk who was watching said, "Boss, then you should tell us why it is so expensive? Other topaz bees are only 2 or 3,000 spirit stones at most, right?" Hearing someone asking this question, the boss was about to explain to everyone why he dared to sell it so expensively. When Lin Changqing heard someone ask this, it was very obvious that he was already tempted. He just waited for the boss to finish explaining and give himself a way out, and then he would pay the spirit stones to buy it. So Lin Changqing was afraid that the night would be long, and he shouted directly, 5,000 spirit stones, I want them." Then he patted his storage bag and poured out 5,000 low-grade spirit stones directly in front of the boss. This sudden situation stunned everyone present, including the stall owner, his sister, and Lin Changqing. They didn't expect that someone would suddenly intervene, and Lin Changqing was so straightforward. The boss was stunned for a moment, then nodded and said, "Okay." Suddenly someone shouted, "Wait a minute. This is against the rules." The voice was from the monks who had been entangled with the stall owner just now. At this time, they were aggressive and asked Lin Changqing, "Young man, is this your first day out to visit the stall? Didn't you see that we are negotiating with the boss? Don't you know that you can't interfere when others are negotiating prices?" How could Lin Changqing be afraid of such a bluffing person? If there were a few foundation-building monks, he might consider giving them a break. Now there are only a few middle-aged monks in the key refining stage, and they are just scum in his eyes. But he didn't want to anger them, so he just pretended to be confused and said, "I don't know. When I first came here, I heard the boss say that whoever pays 5,000 low-grade spirit stones will own this nest of topaz bees. I think this nest of topaz bees is quite suitable, so I paid 5,000 low-grade spirit stones. Is there any problem?" Seeing that none of them said anything, Lin Changqing asked again, "Boss, you keep your word, right? You're not just talking, are you?" The boss laughed and said, "No, so many people are listening. I keep my word. Little brother, you are a straightforward person. I like people like you. This nest of mutant topaz bees is yours." After saying that, he quickly counted the spirit stones on the ground and put them all into the storage bag. Seeing that he had collected the spirit stones, Lin Changqing breathed a sigh of relief and was about to put the net bag into the spirit beast bag. One of them said, "Wait, I negotiated the price with the boss just now. Now I also offer 5,000 spirit stones. This nest of topaz bees should belong to me." Lin Changqing asked with a smile, "Boss, this person said he was negotiating the price with you just now. Is it true?" The boss glanced at those people and said with a smile, "Nonsense, who negotiated the price with him? Anyway, whoever pays 5,000 spirit stones first will own the spirit bees. If he dares to mess around, you can call the market law enforcement team over." Hearing that the boss did not admit that it was him who negotiated the price just now, the cultivator's face turned red with anger, pointing at Lin Changqing and the stall owner and said, "This is too much, you wait for me." After that, he pushed away the crowd of onlookers and left angrily. When the onlookers saw that a nest of mutant topaz bees had also been bought by someone, they dispersed and no longer surrounded this place. Lin Changqing was least afraid of this kind of threat. He even had a vague idea in his heart, but it was just a fleeting thought and was soon thrown out of his mind. He put his own net bag of spirit bees into the spirit beast bag and was about to say goodbye to the boss and leave. At this time, the boss said, "Little brother, are you interested in the swift wolf cub? Seeing that you are a straightforward person, how about giving you a discount of 30 spirit stones?" Lin Changqing chuckled and waved his hand and said, "All the spirit stones in the storage bag have gone to you. Now there are only 300 or 400 spirit stones left. Let's talk about the swift wolf cub next time we have a chance." Unexpectedly, at this time, Lin Changqing suddenly said, "Ninth brother, Changling has raised a little tiger cub. I also want to buy a little wolf cub to raise. What do you think?" Hearing Lin Changqing say this, he was a little dumbfounded. If he agreed, he would let Lin Changqing buy a swift wolf back. If 5th grandpa and 14th uncle knew about it, Would they think that he instigated it and then run to his house to beat him up? Chapter 286, Thunder Leopard Cub. Moreover, Lin Changqing did not expect that the 12th sister would have such low standards that she would actually like the swift wolf. In his eyes, this thing is just cannon fodder, although it looks round and furry and cute now. After she suddenly did this, Lin Changqing didn't know how to answer her. You can't say that the swift wolf is rubbish in front of the stall owner. Besides, the boss was more or less partial to him just now. The boss also heard what Lin Changqing said to him, but seeing Lin Changqing's embarrassed look, he had some guesses in his heart. The boss looked at the three of them and asked with a smile, "Look at your embarrassed look. Do you think you don't like these few swift wolf cubs? I have better ones here, do you want to take a look?" Lin Changqing's heart moved, and he asked quickly, "I'm really sorry, those swift wolf cubs are indeed a little ordinary. If I let my sister take them back, she will definitely be scolded by the elders at home. So we won't consider those cubs." The boss said, "There are better ones. I wonder what kind of spiritual beast cubs it is? We don't want two ordinary ones." After hearing this, the boss said directly, "It's a swift thunder leopard cub. This kind of spiritual beast can be promoted to the second level after normal adulthood. And a small number of them have excellent qualifications and may be promoted to the third level. How about it? Not bad, right?" the boss introduced proudly. Lin Changqing nodded. He was quite familiar with the swift thunder leopard. It was fast and could use the thunder spell Thunderball at the first level, which was to spit out thunderballs from its mouth to attack. The second level was even more powerful, and Lin Changqing had indirectly fought with this kind of monster. It was during the beast tide. He used the thunder horn to sneak attack a late-stage foundation building swift thunder leopard, creating an opportunity for the clan leader to kill it. However, it must be admitted that this kind of demon beast has comprehensive abilities in all aspects and is quite difficult to deal with. But if it is a spiritual pet, it is indeed very good. Even one Yaxin of the Yuling sect has contracted one. However, later by chance, it fell into Lin Changqing's hands and was killed by him. Tell me how many spirit stones first. If it's too much, we can't afford it. Lin Changqing gave a shot first to prevent the boss from asking too much. Seeing that the little brother is a straightforward person, I won't open a high level. If you think it's appropriate, I'll give you 3,000 spirit stones. What do you think? The boss still had a smiling face. Lin Changqing thought about it and found that the price was acceptable, but he must bargain a little, otherwise, wouldn't it look stupid to have too many spirit stones? So he said to the boss, "The price is a bit expensive. Let's discuss it with our brother and sister and then reply to you." The boss nodded and said nothing more. He pulled Lin Changqing and his sister a little further away, and then whispered, "12th sister, that kind of swift wind wolf is a very ordinary spiritual beast in all aspects except for its speed. So no matter what the reason is, I don't recommend you to buy it. Don't buy it because they are cute now, because they are round and furry. After a few months, they will start to grow up and actually look just like that. If you really want a spiritual pet, the boss has a cub of swift wind thunder leopard. This kind of spiritual pet is much more powerful than the swift wind wolf. Normally, it will be a second-level spiritual beast when it grows up. In this beast tide, the clan leader fought on equal terms with a swift wind thunder leopard in the late stage of foundation building. From this, we can see how powerful this spiritual beast is. However, the boss wants 3,000 spirit stones for this thunder leopard phantom. Even if it can be less, it is estimated that it will be more. And there is one thing I want to tell you first, the cost of cultivating this kind of spiritual beast is not small. It may even cost more than training a cultivator in the foundation building period. You must weigh this carefully, lest you regret it at that time, but it will be too late. Brother Jiu, is this swift wind thunder leopard really as powerful as you said? Lin Changqing asked after weighing it in his mind. Lin Changqing nodded and said, "In the family's sutra pavilion, there is a book records of spiritual beasts in Qingyuan mountain range. When you are free, you can find it yourself and take a look. There is a detailed introduction and record of the swift wind thunder leopard." After that, he didn't say anything else. It was up to Lin Changqing to decide whether to take this spiritual beast. Of course, if she clearly didn't want it, Lin Changqing would also come forward to buy it, and it would be nice to give it to her father or mother at that time. At this time, the younger sister Lin Changqing said, "Sister Changqing, raising a spirit pet is not only cute when it is young, but also can play with you. When it grows up, it can also protect you. It is actually very good." After hearing what his sister said, Lin Changqing glared at her fiercely and warned, "Let your sister Changlian decide for herself. Don't bother her here. You don't know her specific situation, so don't make any comments there." The younger sister also glared at him, then humphed, and ignored him. At this time, Lin Changlian said, "Brother Jiu, I have thought it over and still want that swift wind thunder leopard, but now there are only more than 1,200 spirit stones in the storage bag. Can you lend me some first?" Lin Changqing nodded and said, "That's no problem. Let's go to the boss first and take a look at the specific situation of the cub. If there is no problem after the inspection, I will help you pay for the spirit stones first, and the rest will be discussed after returning to Jiufeng Mountain." "That's great, thank you, Brother Jiu," Lin Changlian said happily. "Sister Changlian, I also have 1,000 spirit stones here. I can lend them to you first," Lin Changqing whispered in Lin Changlian's ear. "Thank you, Changling, I won't need it for now. I'll borrow it from your brother," Lin Changlian said, holding her hand. Then the three of them returned to the stall owner, nodded to him, and whispered, "Boss, the four of us will gather together. Please take out the cub of the swift thunder leopard and have a look." The boss also nodded slightly, and then gathered together. The boss took out a spirit beast cub that was only 2 palms in size from the spirit beast bag, and Lin Changqing took it directly. He began to check it. At close range, he could clearly sense a little bit of thunder spirit fluctuation, proving that it was a thunder spirit beast. Lin Changqing felt the thunder spirit the most clearly. And he would not be wrong. And from the body shape, it was also a leopard shape, so it was inferred that the little guy in his hand was indeed the cub of the swift thunder leopard. After careful inspection, it was concluded that the cub should have been born less than half a month ago. Except for being a little thin, there was no problem for the time being. But since he wanted to buy it, he would definitely find an excuse to bargain, otherwise he would be a fool. So he said, "Why is this little guy so thin? Isn't it born with a deficiency?" The boss rolled his eyes at him and said, "Do you understand? If you don't understand, don't talk nonsense. It's only been born for less than half a month. How big do you want it to be? It feels too thin. Will it die soon? Otherwise, make it cheaper. Otherwise, the risk we take is too great." Lin Changqing lied. The boss thought for a while and said, "Little brother, this is your purpose. You are talking about congenital deficiency. How much discount do you want? It's too much? I won't sell it." Lin Changqing would never admit it, and continued, "It is smaller than normal. Is it normal to sell it cheaper? 2,500 spirit stones." The stall owner was almost laughed at by him, and said unhappily, "You cut 1/6 of it in one cut. Why don't you just let me give it to you for free? 2,800 spirit stones, forget it if it doesn't work." Lin Changqing looked at Lin Changlian and saw that she nodded. Knowing that she accepted the price, he said, "Okay, I'll listen to your 2,800 spirit stones and make a deal." The boss nodded, which was considered confirmed. Then Lin Changqing paid the spirit stones, and then took out a spirit beast bag, put the little guy in it, and handed it to Lin Changlian. Lin Changlian took the spirit beast bag and was very happy. She finally had her own spirit beast, and it had great potential and would be very powerful in the future. She quickly thanked Lin Changqing and said, "Great, thank you for your help, Brother 9. Lin Changqing waved his hand and said, "Don't thank me yet. Let's leave the street stall square first. Someone should have been eyeing us." Then the three of them said goodbye to the boss and left the square directly. They didn't visit the other half of the stalls. They began to shuttle back and forth in the streets and alleys of the market, with a little tail behind them. It took more than an hour to get rid of them all. Chapter 287. A fleeting thought. In order to avoid running into those people on his way back, Lin Changqing took out 3 hidden spirit masks from his storage bag, and the 3 of them put them on. Then the 3 of them split into 2 groups to avoid being too conspicuous. The younger sister and Lin Changlian walked in front, and Lin Changqing followed behind them. They were about 50 feet away, making sure no one was following them. Finally, they successfully returned to the rented yard. When entering the yard, Lin Changqing took a look at the rooms of Lin Changji and the other 2, and found that they had not returned yet, so the 3 of them rested in the living room. "Brother, just now at the street stall square, how did you know that we were being watched?" Lin Changling asked curiously. Lin Changqing glanced at the 2 of them and explained, "I can guess this. Do you know how many spirit stones the members of the hunting team in the family can earn after working hard for a year? It's probably about 800 to 1,000. After deducting various expenses, it's not easy to keep half of it. Then think about it yourself. How much spirit stones did we spend just now? At least 7,000 or 8,000 spirit stones, right? So in the eyes of those robber cultivators, if you are not a fat sheep, who is the fat sheep? Now you know that the outside world is dangerous. These are still on the surface, and there are more unspeakable means. Brother, when you're out there, do you often encounter such things? Lin Changqing asked a little worriedly. But it's not that exaggerated. I just occasionally encounter a few ignorant robber cultivators who give me some spirit stones, as well as spiritual objects and magic tools and other things, Lin Changqing explained. Hearing Lin Changqing's answer, the younger sister and Lin Changqing looked at each other, and the thoughts in their hearts flashed, and both saw the little stars in each other's eyes. Lin Changqing didn't guess what the two of them were thinking, but continued, what you are wearing on your faces are hidden spirit masks. I have tried it. It can completely hide the consciousness of the foundation building cultivators, but it won't work when facing the purple mansion period. I once wore this kind of mask and was found on the spot by my great-grandmother's apprentice, Senior Chen Jiai, so you must be careful when using it. Now I give it to you, and you can make good use of it in the future. Upon hearing this, the younger sister and Lin Changqing were overjoyed and hurriedly thanked him. Thank you, brother, you are so nice. Thank you, ninth brother. Lin Changqing nodded, and said to Lin Changqing, the swift thunder leopard was only born about half a month ago. Although it has opened its eyes, it may need to be fed with some animal milk or something like that. Wait until it grows up a little bit before it can be fed with monster meat. Lin Changqing has the master-servant contract, you can ask her to teach you. Lin Changqing nodded and said, I know, ninth brother. But the problem now is, where can I get the animal milk? Lin Changqing smiled and said, in such a big market, there must be animal milk. If you don't know, you can ask the waiter at the hotel. If he can help you get it, give him 1 or 2 spirit stones. This will save a lot of trouble. It's the best. Of course, if you really can't get it, you can also ask Uncle Key directly, but if you want to leave the hotel, you must tell me. Do you two understand? The two nodded, and it seemed that they were eager to try. Lin Changqing waved his hand and asked them to get the animal milk first. After the two of them left, Lin Changqing also returned to his room, activated a maze, and then took out the net bag-shaped magic tool covering the nest of spirit bees from the spirit beast bag. After observing for a while, most of the outside were worker bees, and a few drones, and then probed into the hive. It was like a maze inside, with many connections. It took Lin Changqing a little time to find the queen bee. While searching for the queen bee, Lin Changqing also roughly counted that there were about 500 mutant topaz bees in this nest, including 1 first-stage mid-stage queen bee, about 20 first-stage mid-stage drones, and the rest were first-stage early-stage worker bees. After carefully observing this nest of mutant topaz bees, there were some irregular golden patches on their foreheads, bodies, and wings. An ordinary topaz queen bee could only reach the top of the first stage great perfection, while a mutant topaz queen bee would have a great chance of breaking through the second stage. 1 ounce of honey produced by an ordinary topaz bee is equivalent to a top-grade key-gathering pill, which is about 10 spirit stones. However, because honey is a natural spirit object without poison, the price has to be doubled, that is, 1 ounce of honey is worth about 20 spirit stones. If a nest of topaz bees can collect enough pollen every year, it can produce about 2 to 3 pounds of honey in addition to the part it eats. That's 500 spirit stones. If ordinary topaz bees cost more than 2,000 or 3,000 spirit stones per nest, it might only take 5 or 6 years to get back the money. Because these are mutant spirit bees, it cost 5,000 spirit stones to buy them, and it will take 10 years to get back the money. But if one day, the queen bee can be promoted to the second level, it will be different. 1 or 2 ounces of second-level honey, the cheapest one will cost 50 or 60 spirit stones, and the better ones will cost more than 100. In fact, the stall owner caught the selling point of the mutant spirit bees, and the main point was a future, that this mutant queen bee might be promoted to the second level. Therefore, he dared to double the price, which is also the reason why those people have been trying to grind the price down, and finally let Lin Changqing find an opportunity and decisively took action to pick up a small leak. Now take out this nest of topaz bees, just want to contract the queen bee first, let it restrain the worker bees and drones under her, so that Lin Changqing dare to put them into the inner space. Otherwise, Without the restraint of the queen bee, the people and spirit beasts in the inner space will probably be in trouble soon. He began to refine the net-shaped magic weapon. Now that Lin Changqing's spiritual consciousness was strong, he finished refining the magic weapon in a short while. After thinking about it, the queen bee was hiding in the hive, and it was not easy to get it out alone, so he simply put it into the spirit beast bracelet together with a refined net-shaped magic weapon. Then he took back the net bag inside, and the whole space of the spirit beast bracelet was full of bees flying around. However, Lin Changqing didn't care about them. He sent a flying sword directly in, carefully cut the hive in half, and then took out the queen bee. Although the queen bee also has a stinger, it doesn't have much attack power in Lin Changqing's hands. Moreover, this time the queen bee is left alone, and can't make any waves. Observing this little guy carefully, it is about 3 times the size of an ordinary worker bee, with relatively short wings and a relatively large abdomen, which accounts for about 3/5 of the body. There are golden spots in many places on the body. As the king of the entire colony, the queen bee is very spiritual. Lin Changqing knew that it would definitely understand, so he communicated with it directly with his spiritual consciousness. Without much resistance, the queen bee surrendered smoothly. He directly chanted the spell of the master-servant contract, and then used the golden thread light needle to prick his finger, forcing out a small drop of blood essence containing his own spiritual energy, and dotted it on the queen bee's forehead. It was quickly absorbed into the queen bee's sea of consciousness. The queen bee could immediately sense the existence of the queen bee in his mind, and through the contract, he also felt the waves of submission from the queen bee. He put this little guy in his palm and decided to give it a name. Seeing that the whole body was mainly yellow, dotted with many gold spots. Therefore, he decided to name it Jinyun. There is no special meaning, just hope that she will lay more eggs, and the bee colony will be as many as clouds in the future. Then he told it the name he gave it through the contract. Unexpectedly, this little guy was quite happy and danced in Lin Changqing's palm. Lin Changqing watched it and found it quite interesting, but he still asked it to perform again next time, and once again passed a new order to Jinyun through the contract. After letting it enter the inner space, it must restrain all the worker bees and drones, and must not attack the people and spirit beasts inside. Queen bee Jinyun is very smart, and the feedback she gave back is also very clear, so Lin Changqing is relieved. Chapter 288. The staff team has expanded again. He sent Jinyun back to the spirit beast bracelet, and asked it to appease its people first, and promised to find a place that was very suitable for them later. With a thought, he went directly into the inner space, took a look, and chose a tall spirit plant, then took out a beehive that he had cut in half, found a suitable location, and placed it on the tree. He knew that the honey was a very professional architect and would repair the beehive by himself, without his help at all, and then release Jinyun and all the topaz bees. Sure enough, under the leadership of Jinyun, they did not fly around, everything was in order, and they saw them send Jinyun back to the beehive. Through communication with Jinyun, he knew that it had ordered its people to go out and explore the environment here and find materials to repair the beehive, so Lin Changqing felt relieved. At this time, the deer had all come over, calling yo-yo-yo, and surrounded Lin Changqing in the middle. And Zhao Liao also came here when she heard the call of the 3-color deer. This was just right. Lin Changqing summoned Jinyun again and introduced Zhao Liao and the 3-color deer to it, asking it to restrain its subordinates and not to attack them. As for the 3-color deer, Lin Changqing also told them not to provoke the yellow jade bees. Especially Lu Xiaoling and Lu Xiaomin, the 2 more lively and active little guys. After getting affirmative answers from both sides, Lin Changqing was relieved. Last time I came in to get the green jade tea, I was too busy coming and going, so this time Lin Changqing gave them some supplements. After feeding them the Yuling pill, I stroked there for this operation took nearly half an hour. I sent them out to play by themselves, and took out the spiritual medicines that I had just harvested today and gave them to Zhao Liao to deal with. She naturally knew where to plant them, and told her that she could plant more green jade tea trees when she had time, not too many. About 20 acres would be enough. After Zhao Liao agreed, Lin Changqing saw that there was nothing to do and was about to exit the inner space. Unexpectedly, Jinyun sent it through the contract and asked why it didn't have that round green thing. Lin Changqing knew instantly that Jinyun was talking about the Yuling pill. When Jinyun asked this question, he was stunned for a moment. Doesn't the queen bee only eat royal jelly? But this didn't bother Lin Changqing. He found a small dish in the storage bag for sundries. Then he got some water and put the yulin pill in it to dissolve. Although this would evaporate and lose some spiritual energy, the effect of the yulin pill in opening the spirit and giving birth to wisdom would not be reduced. Put this small dish at the entrance of the hive. Jin Yun commanded his men to put the small dish in. After a while, Jin Yun sent a happy meaning through the contract, and Lin Changqing didn't find it strange. It would be better for Jin Yun to take the yulin pill. As the brain of the entire bee colony, the queen bee is already very spiritual. If she takes more yulin pills in the future, she will definitely be smarter. This will also allow her to better control the bee colony and work for Lin Changqing. After exiting the inner space and returning to the room, he had planned to go to the gambling stone shop after visiting the street stall square, but some small incidents occurred in the morning, and the plan was a bit disrupted. After thinking for a while, he decided to go out and ask his sister and Lin Changqing if they still wanted to go to the gambling stone shop. If they didn't want to go, he would go to the gambling stone shop by himself, quickly sweep around and come back. Anyway, he must go to the gambling stone shop, otherwise how can the inner space grow? Leaving the room and coming to the living room, it was quiet and no one was there. Lin Changqing first touched the band on his sister Lin Changqing's door, but there was no response after waiting for a while. Knowing that she must still be with Lin Changqing, he turned around and came to the door of Lin Changqing's room and raised his hand to touch the band. Soon the door opened, and it was Lin Changqing who came to open the door for him, and let Lin Changqing in. Seeing that Lin Changqing was concentrating on the table and the swift thunder leopard cub who was drinking animal milk, Lin Changqing also came over, and the three of them watched the little guy eat together. After watching for a while, Lin Changqing turned to look at Lin Changqing again, and found that her eyes were shining with maternal love. So he asked, "It seems that the contract has been signed." Lin Changqing nodded and said happily, "I feel that I have a good relationship with it." The contract was signed in no time. The animal milk was also found smoothly. The hotel attendant helped to find a large bucket, which is enough for this little guy to eat for a few days. I gave him 2 spiritual stones. Lin Changqing nodded and said, "That's good. You should be able to find animal milk when you return to the family. I remember that there are camels and sheep in my second uncle's house. You can ask them when the time comes." "Okay, thank you, Brother 9. Lin Changqing nodded and continued, "It's just past noon now. It's still early. I'm going to go to the gambling stone shop to take a look. Come over to ask if you want to go together." As soon as the voice fell, the sister cheered in a low voice, not daring to be too loud, obviously afraid of scaring the little guy who was eating. "Great, brother. I want to go. I also want to buy a piece of raw stone and try my luck." Lin Changqing took Lin Changqing's hand and said. Lin Changqing chuckled and said, Okay. If you want to go, let's go together. It's not a big deal." He turned his head and looked at Lin Changqing who was silent. Seeing her hesitation, he couldn't help but continue to ask, "12th sister, do you want to go to the gambling stone shop together?" Lin Changqing was actually quite tempted, but after thinking about it carefully, she shook her head and said, "I'd better forget it. I have already spent more than 3,000 spirit stones this time. If I go to that kind of place, I might not be able to help but spend hundreds of spirit stones again, so I'd better not go." "No. Sister Changqing, will you go with me? At most, when you can't help it, just buy the cheapest one. Otherwise, we can buy a piece of raw stone together at that time," Sister Lin Changqing pleaded. At this time, Lin Changqing also said, 12 sisters, let's go together. It's good to have a look. Just think of it as a way to broaden your horizons, and you don't have to buy raw stones." Lin Changqing looked at the thunder leopard cub and found that it had finished a whole bowl of animal milk, so she nodded and said, "Then go. Anyway, I don't have anything to do now. Otherwise when you leave, I will be the only one left here." As soon as the voice fell, Lin Changqing cheered. Lin Changqing also smiled and ordered, "Isn't that right? Don't think too much when you go out to play, just don't waste the spirit stones. For safety reasons, you should change your clothes later, and then put on the hidden spirit mask I just gave you, so as not to meet the people who followed us this morning." Both the sister and Lin Changqing thought it made sense, nodded and agreed. Lin Changqing also got up and said goodbye and returned to his room. He put on the hidden spirit mask first, then changed into a set of clothes that matched his new look, performed the water mirror technique, checked it out, and found nothing wrong, then went to the living room to wait for them. After a while, two ordinary-looking girls came out. Lin Changqing nodded, saying that this was a good idea, as they would not stand out on the crowd. He praised them twice, then led them out of the hotel and headed directly towards the gambling stone shop. Chapter 289 Another big cargo. Lin Changqing and this gambling stone shop are quite predestined. He bought his first rough stone from them. The location is far from the hotel where Lin Changqing and his friends stayed. It only takes more than a quarter of an hour to walk there. Looking at the familiar place, Lin Changqing did not hesitate too much and walked in with his two sisters. When the shop assistant saw that there were customers coming, he hurriedly came up and greeted them, saying, "Welcome to you three." Lin Changqing nodded, pointed at his sister and Lin Changqing and said, "My two sisters are here for the first time. You should introduce the rules of gambling stones to them carefully. I will take a look myself first and call you if there is a suitable one." The shop assistant quickly agreed. Lin Changqing continued to instruct the two sisters, "You should follow this young man first and let him introduce the rules of gambling stones to you. Then take a look inside. If you like something, don't rush to buy it. Wait until I have seen it before making a decision." The sister and Lin Changqing nodded in agreement. Seeing that the two were eager to try, he did not waste any more time. Nodding to the shop assistant, they went shopping separately. The place was quite big, but there were also many people looking at the raw stones. There were at least 30 or 40 monks selecting raw stones. In fact, this was the situation that Lin Changqing disliked the most. There were so many people and it was easy for the news to leak out. But there was no other way. He couldn't ask the gambling stone shop to only receive his own wave of customers. So he simply ignored others. He should just look at his own raw stones. Lin Changqing glanced over and saw more than a dozen halos of varying brightness, distributed in various corners. But if he looked closely, he would find that most of them were medium-grade spiritual stones. Among them, only two were very bright, with two incomplete bright halos, one yellow and one green, and they were piled together. There were several shop assistants around, washing the pile of raw stones. It seemed that they were new goods that had just arrived at the gambling stone shop. He called a clerk and asked, "Can customers buy these rough stones that are still being cleaned?" The clerk replied respectfully, "They can be sold. There are many customers who like to choose these rough stones that have not been cleaned." Lin Changqing knew that he could buy them. He had bought this kind of stones before. He asked more questions just to be on the safe side. So he said, "That's perfect. I like this kind of stones that have not been picked by others. Let me take a look at them this time and pick a few to play with. Come here and help move these away so that I can take a good look." Then several shop assistants came to help and move the pile of rough stones away. Lin Changqing finally saw their true purpose. His heart was beating wildly, and he couldn't help but clench his fists. He was so happy now, but he had to hold it back and not let the smile on his face show. He never thought that he would encounter such a big surprise here. The two raw stones were not small. One of them was half the size of the treasure of the Jinzhou Prefecture gambling stone shop, and the other was only slightly smaller. The two pieces together were almost the same, equivalent to another treasure of the shop. The last time, Zhao Linyu helped him get the treasure of the shop. So although he was very happy, he did not have any sense of accomplishment. He could not experience the joy of picking up a bargain, but this time it was different. He handled it all by himself. Anyway, he was happy and full of sense of accomplishment. And because the pile of raw stones was moved away, a smaller raw stone with a bright blue halo was also exposed. This water attributed top-grade spirit stone Yuankuang. It seems that it is absolutely no problem to open 200 or 300 top-grade water spirit stones. New goods are different. This pile of raw stones suddenly produced 3 top-grade raw stones. Lin Changqing was very happy and felt that the whole person was a little light. However, if you want to act, you must do the whole set. He still tried to restrain his emotions, and then patiently walked over in a pretentious manner. After roughly studying the pile of raw stones, he decided on the 3 raw stones and asked the shop assistant to invite a boss over. Lin Changqing knew the boss of this gambling stone shop, but now Lin Changqing was wearing a hidden spirit mask on his face. Moreover, so much time had passed, and Lin Changqing suspected that even if he showed his true face now, the boss would not remember who he was. After the two greeted each other, they bargained for a long time. The boss looked at the 3 raw stones selected by Lin Changqing and asked for 28,000 spirit stones. Lin Changqing wanted to make a deal for 24,000. After a while, Both parties finally took a step back and took an intermediate value, 26,000 low-grade spirit stones. Lin Changqing paid the spirit stones, and then the boss and a shop assistant helped put the 3 raw stones into Lin Changqing's storage bag. Just now, the boss and the shop assistant came here, and it was so lively, which had attracted the attention of some people with ulterior motives. However, Lin Changqing had been mentally prepared to come here. The fleeting thought in the morning resurfaced, but this idea was still a bit risky, so he suppressed it. His spiritual sense swept through, and there were 3 groups of people in the gambling stone shop, all of whom were paying attention to Lin Changqing's every move, either openly or secretly. Lin Changqing pretended not to know, and quickly found the location of his sister and Lin Changqing. However, he was a little surprised. Could it really be the legendary benefits for novices? His sister and Lin Changqing were now standing in front of a raw stone that emitted a dark red halo, and Lin Changqing walked directly over. Originally, he didn't want them to gamble for an increase in value, because this would encourage them to have some bad ideas, making them think that it is easy to make money from gambling on stones, and it would become uncontrollable in the future. Now that the two of them have obviously chosen this medium-grade spiritual stone that is in stock, it would be unreasonable for Lin Changqing to deliberately destroy it, so now he can only let nature take its course. He asked with a smile, "How are you doing? Have you chosen a suitable raw stone?" Seeing her brother coming, Lin Changqing hurriedly dragged his hand and came to the raw stone. She began to introduce, "Brother, look, this is the rough stone I chose. I think there will be good things in it." Lin Changqing chuckled and said, "You are dreaming. Have you heard that it is difficult for gods to judge the quality of jade? Gambling on stones still depends more on anger. But this one looks good. If you really like it, you can take it down and play with it." Lin Changqing was very happy to get her brother's approval, and asked quickly, "Brother, how many spirit stones do you think it will cost to buy this rough stone?" Hearing his sister's question, Lin Changqing went up to pick it up, weighed it, and had a rough idea in his mind, and said, "It will probably cost about 800 to 900 spirit stones." Lin Changqing nodded, then looked at Lin Changqing with anticipation, and took her hand and said, "Sister Changqing, let's buy this rough stone together." Seeing that Lin Changqing was so enthusiastic, Lin Changqing was embarrassed to refuse, so she could only say, "Okay. Let's buy this one together." When the younger sister heard that she agreed, she happily said to the shop assistant who had been following them, "We want to buy this rough stone. Do we have to find the boss?" The shop assistant heard it and quickly said, "Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I will find the boss." After that, without waiting for their answer, he ran to find the boss. Soon, he brought the boss to their side. Lin Changqing was worried that the boss would let the cat out of the bag, so he quickly said, "Boss, we are all old customers. This rough stone can be sold at a lower price." The boss was also a smart man, and he immediately understood what Lin Changqing meant, so he followed his words and said, "Okay. This is definitely no problem. I will give you a discount this time, and you are welcome to continue to come and take care of my business next time." Chapter 290. Do you want to catch some fish? After saying that, he went up to weigh the raw stone, and then said, "Originally, this raw stone needs 920 spirit stones. This time I will charge you 800 spirit stones." The younger sister and Lin Changqing were overjoyed when they heard it. The boss gave a minimum price that was similar to Lin Changqing's estimate. The two hurriedly took out 400 spirit stones each and paid it to the boss. After receiving the spirit stones, the boss reminded them that he could help to cut a stone for free, and asked them if they wanted to cut it on the spot. However, Lin Changqing refused without hesitation. This piece of raw stone contained a medium-grade spirit stone, or, if it was cut out here, I don't know how many people would be surrounded. So no matter what, it can't be cut here. Lin Changqing directly put the raw stone into the younger sister's storage bag, and said to the boss, "Boss, give me 2 more magic tools for polishing raw stones." The boss also agreed with a smile. After sending 2 magic tools, he rarely spoke up to remind them, "3 guests, you must be careful and pay attention to safety when you go out." After saying that, he also blinked at the 3 people. The 3 people understood immediately, and couldn't help but have a good impression of the boss. Although they knew that he didn't want to lose 3 big customers. But his behavior still made people feel good. Lin Changqing also said with a smile, "Thank you for the reminder, boss. I will patronize your business next time. We will take our leave first." After saying that, he took his 2 sisters and left the gambling stone shop. Just after leaving for a while, someone followed behind. Lin Changqing saw it clearly with his spiritual sense. Now with a few little tails behind, of course he can't go back to the hotel directly. Lin Changqing took his two sisters again and began to wander around in the streets and alleys. In fact, they had already done this process once in the morning. At this time, Lin Changqing said, "Brother, since you are so powerful, why do you still hide from place to place? Let those people follow if they want to. If they dare to follow you out of the market tomorrow, can't we just eliminate them together? Didn't you say that they are here to send you spiritual stones and spiritual objects and magic tools?" Lin Changqing also said at this time, "Yes. Brother Jiu, since you have the ability to deal with them, then why keep these robbery cultivators? These people are pests in the market town. It would be considered justice if we deal with them orally." Lin Changqing glanced at them and said, "Do you think I don't want to? These garbage are annoying to look at. They are really like stink bugs. I wish I could step on them to death. The problem is that I brought you with me, for fear that if something unexpected happened, I would not be able to explain to the clan leader." Lin Changqing said unconvincedly, "Brother Jiu, you look down on people. I killed 2 or 3 robbery cultivators with my own hands last time. I will not hold you back." Lin Changqing laughed and explained, "I know, what I said is, if there is any accident, why do you react so much, brother? I don't want to run around like this. Why don't we go back to the hotel directly? If they dare to follow us out of the market town tomorrow, we will wait and see brother show his power and step on these stink bugs to death on the spot. I promise I won't hold you back." The younger sister said with anticipation. "Yes. Brother 9, you can let Sister Changling see these tribulation cultivators, just like we did that time, without any danger. Everything is under your control." Lin Changqing also suggested. After listening to what they said, Lin Changqing also roughly thought about it in his mind and found that the feasibility was still very high. Moreover, he was tired of being followed by these people and hiding like this, so he simply agreed to the suggestions of his sister and Lin Changqing. However, if they went back directly, the people following behind would be suspicious, so they continued to shuttle through the streets and alleys. It was just that Lin Changqing controlled the speed and distance to ensure that the people behind would not lose them. After circling around for a few times, they finally returned to the hotel where they were staying. In that gambling stone shop, it didn't actually take any time, probably only 1 or 2 hours. On the contrary, in order to avoid being followed by those people with ulterior motives, they really wasted a lot of time walking through the streets and alleys. The good thing is that they have been to many places in Pingyangfang City, so it is not a wasted trip. So, now it is already evening when they return to the yard. Moreover, when Lin Changqing came back just now, he took a look at the rooms of Lin Changji and the others and found that they had not returned yet. This made him a little worried. He didn't know what they had been doing for the past 2 days, so he decided to wait for them to come back in the living room. He planned to tell them what had just happened in his own thoughts to see their reactions. If they were willing to take a risk, he would catch a few small fish to play with. Lin Changqing and the other 2 sat in the living room to rest. Because they had to wait for Lin Changji and the others, Lin Changqing simply took out the tea set and prepared to make a pot of green jade tea. Unexpectedly, at this time, his sister Lin Changling said with a smile, "Brother, let me make this tea. This is also a thank you for taking me out to play this time." Lin Changqing was deeply skeptical. He knew what kind of person his sister was. It couldn't be that she had never played it before and was curious and wanted to give it a try. However, Lin Changqing didn't mind at all, as it might just be a waste of some green jade tea, so he agreed directly and handed the tea set in a box of green jade tea to his sister. Lin Changqing was ready to sit back and enjoy the results. Seeing her little unfamiliar movements, Lin Changqing didn't have too high expectations. Fortunately, green jade tea is a second-level spiritual tea after all, and the effect of brewing it will not be worse than that of first-level spiritual tea. Just make do with it. Lin Changling struggled for a while, and finally brewed the spiritual tea, and then served it up to Lin Changqing and Lin Changlian respectively. "Brother, please have some tea. Sister Changlian, please have some tea." Lin Changqing raised his cup and took a sip, frowned, and couldn't help sighing in his heart. It takes talent to be able to brew the second-level spiritual tea to such an effect. Kate Changling asked expectantly, "Brother, Sister Changlian, how is my craftsmanship?" Lin Changqing coughed lightly, then said, "It's barely okay. It's good for a novice to have this level for the first time. With more times in the future, there will naturally be improvement, Lin Changqing said with a smile. I feel it's not bad. However, with more practice, the effect will definitely be better than it is now. Lin Changqing was affirmed by the two people, and was overjoyed. Really? That's great. Brother, this box of spiritual tea belongs to me. When my craftsmanship improves in the future, I will thank you again. After saying that, she put Lin Changqing's box of green jade tea into her own storage bag, and then she laughed non-stop. Lin Changqing then realized that they were waiting for him here. She was attracted by his spiritual tea. Lin Changqing also reacted at this time, and she also laughed non-stop. It was just a box of green jade tea, and Lin Changqing didn't mind. However, seeing that they were so proud, he decided to cooperate with them and let them feel a little accomplishment. So Lin Changqing pretended to be angry and simply ignored them. There happened to be some movement at the gate of the yard, and Lin Changqing walked out to check. It was Lin Changji and the other three who came back. Seeing the three of them were happy with their arms around each other, and it seemed that they had drunk spiritual wine. Lin Changqing suddenly had an idea. Could these guys be going to drink wine and take care of the business of the beautiful sister in one whole tower? So he couldn't help but walk over, stop them outside the door, and asked in a low voice, "Fifth brother, sixth brother, 10th brother, where did you go today? Why did you drink spirit wine?" Hearing Lin Changqing's question, the three looked at each other, and then Lin Changji blinked at him and said proudly, "Ninth brother, we went to a very interesting place today. I'll take you there next time if I have the chance." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 291, A Small Opportunity. Lin Changqing had already guessed it almost right, and couldn't help but ask with a smile, "Are there a lot of beautiful sisters dancing for you in the place you went to?" Lin Changqing was surprised and asked, "Ninth brother, how did you know? Have you been there before?" Lin Changqing said unhappily, "Go for a shit. If I hadn't heard the singing, dancing and laughter when I passed by one ho tower that time, I would have guessed it. However, forget about going there to see it this time, and don't go there again in the future. That place is a den of money, and the spiritual stones cost a lot. Besides, I heard that if you lose your yuan yang, it will be even more difficult to build a foundation in the future," the sixth brother said with a smile. "Ninth brother, what are you thinking about? We just passed by there in the afternoon. We were curious and went in to see it. We didn't do anything bad," Lin Changqing hurriedly said. "Yes, ninth brother. We just chatted with a few sisters for a while, and then drank some spiritual wine, and didn't do anything else." Okay, this matter ends here. My sister and Changlian are in the living room. Don't say anything more, otherwise they will hear it. Then spread it back to the family and see if the elders in your family will punish you," Lin Changqing said hurriedly. After hearing this, several people shuddered and woke up instantly, then nodded repeatedly, understanding the meaning of Lin Changqing's warning. He himself was also helpless. If the elders and patriarchs in the family knew that they went to one ho tower to drink wine, it would not be so easy to come out together in the future, so Lin Changqing still had to help them conceal this matter. Then several people entered the living room together, greeted each other, and found a seat to sit down. Lin Changqing opened his mouth and asked, "Fifth brother, sixth brother, 10th brother, where did you guys go to play these 2 days?" Fifth brother Lin Changji said with a smile, "We can go there to play, isn't it just walking around in the market town? Yesterday afternoon, we went to the street stall square, but when we got there, there were very few stalls, so we just walked around. Then we went to the family shop and met 7th uncle. He kept us there for dinner, and then we chatted together and didn't come back until very late. I got up late today and went to the street stall square again, mainly to buy some small gifts for my family. For the rest of the time, I just looked around in the market town to gain some experience. When it was almost dark, I had a spiritual meal outside and came back. That's about it for our 2 days. How are you guys? Did you gain anything?" Lin Changqing said proudly. "We're okay. Similar to you, we're also walking around in the market town. However, when we were visiting the street stalls, my 9th brother bought me a cub of a swift-winged thunder leopard. It has great potential and will be a second-level creature when it grows up. I have already signed a contract. In the afternoon, I went to the gambling stone shop again. My sister Changling and I bought a piece of raw stone together. It has not been opened yet. The 10th brother Lin Changqing said and then blinked at Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing understood what he meant, which meant that the gambling stone shop was not a good place to go. This time everyone was even. Lin Changqing glared at him unhappily, but did not speak. Changji knew the power of this kind of spirit beast, and said with a little envy, "You are so lucky to meet a second-level swift wind thunder leopard cub. We visited the street stalls yesterday and today, why didn't we meet one? How many spirit stones did you spend on it in total?" Lin Changqing said proudly. After the 9th brother came forward to discuss with the boss, he bought it for 2,800 spirit stones. She believed that she was smart and did not tell Lin Changqing to help her with the spirit stones first, for fear of embarrassing Lin Changqing at that time. When Lin Changqing heard that it was more than 2,000 spirit stones, he shook his head and sighed, "This is really not cheap. If we come across it, we probably won't be able to buy it." Lin Changqing nodded, sighed, and said nothing. However, the 6th brother Lin Changqing was very curious about gambling on stones, so he said to them, "Two sisters, why don't you take out your rough stone now and let everyone see it? It would be even better if you can open it on the spot. We haven't seen what gambling on stones is like yet." As soon as the voice fell, the younger sister Lin Changqing responded, "Okay. I actually wanted to take out the rough stone and wipe it open to take a look. It just so happens that everyone is here, so it's just right to help." After saying that, she took the rough stone out of the storage bag. Lin Changqing was speechless for a moment. Why did she agree so quickly? He wanted to stop it, but it was too late. What a silly sister. Now he can foresee how things will develop next. After the rough stone was opened, Lin Changqing and others were greatly shocked. Then tomorrow morning, they will definitely go to the gambling stone shop to buy raw stones to try their luck. After losing hundreds of spiritual stones, each of them will return to the family in disgrace. It seems that it is really necessary to catch a few fish, give them some exercise, and recover their blood by the way. "Brother, did the boss give 2 magic tools for opening raw stones?" Lin Changqing nodded, took out the magic tools directly from the storage bag and handed them to his sister. He was too lazy to speak. Sitting on the side, drinking spiritual tea, watching them tossing there, after a while. The 6th brother cheered first, followed by the 5th brother, and the two of them polished 2 different places. Almost at the same time, the stone shell was broken, and 2 bright red spots were revealed. Then they felt a stronger spiritual pressure than the lower grade spiritual stones, so they cheered one after another. Then several people gathered together and watched strongly. In order not to reveal his feat, Lin Changqing also joined the ranks of onlookers. 6 people gathered together, and it was Lin Changqing who spoke first. "How many middle grade spirit stones can be obtained from such a large piece? It should be more than 100, right?" Lin Changqing measured it with his hands and said, "I'm afraid it's more than 200, and the conservative estimate is about 240. This middle grade raw stone is worth at least 26,000 spirit stones, which means it's equivalent to half a foundation building pill." As soon as the voice fell, the younger sister and Lin Changqing couldn't help cheering, and then the two hugged each other happily. Just now, they only knew that they had obtained middle grade spirit stones, but now they know the specific value. Which is another matter. You know, this is the first time for the two of them to earn so many spirit stones, and they are both very happy and excited. Moreover, this is already a great opportunity. The members of the family's demon hunting team only earn about 800 to 1,000 spirit stones a year. Now with this amount of spirit stones, it is equivalent to more than 10 years of hard work by others, which is also the main reason why the two of them are happy and excited. Lin Changqing and the other 3 showed envious expressions. You know, their 3 families don't have direct support from foundation building cultivators, so although they have some resources, they can only barely maintain their cultivation. If they can also have such an extra income from spiritual stones, it will be completely different. Looking at the 2 people hugging each other and cheering, Lin Changqing couldn't help but say, "How about, tomorrow morning, let's go to the gambling stone shop to try our luck." Lin Changqing immediately said, "Okay, let's buy a piece of raw stone tomorrow to try our luck." Lin Changqing hesitated for a moment and said, "Although I know that I may not have such good luck, but let's go and try it." Lin Changqing sighed in his heart. He knew it would be like this, but some things still need to be made clear first. So he said, "I don't approve of you going to the gambling stone shop. This kind of place has big ups and downs, and we can't control it. If you must go, I suggest you just gamble a little for fun, and don't spend too many spirit stones there." Lin Changqing nodded and said, "I know, it won't cost too many spirit stones. For a few of us, each person will spend at most 200 or 300 spirit stones, or you can do like your two sisters and buy a larger raw stone together." Lin Changqing also said, "Don't worry, ninth brother. I will control it well. It's just a one-time thing." Chapter 292 My brother was replaced? Lin Changqing said with a smile, "Brother Jiu, did you buy 1 or 2 raw stones to play with when you went to the gambling stone shop today?" Lin Changqing shook his head and denied, "Of course not. I just accompanied the two of them to take a look, and I have no intention of buying anything." There was no other way. He could only lie to them. If they knew that they also bought raw stones, it would be equivalent to being encouraged in disguise, and they would definitely be bolder at that time. And they didn't have the innate merit true eye to help cheat, so in order to make them lose less, he could only lie to them. This was a white lie. After saying that, he ignored them. He said to his sister and Lin Changqing, "Okay. You two, just be happy for a while, and now think about how to deal with this medium-grade spirit stone ore. Do you want to unlock all of them and keep them for cultivation, or change them into low-grade spirit stones and put them in your bag for safekeeping?" Hearing the question asked by Lin Changqing, his sister and Lin Changqing held hands and discussed with each other. After a while, they told Lin Changqing that they decided to unlock all of them and exchange them for low-grade spirit stones to be divided equally between the two of them. Their decision was within Lin Changqing's expectations. After all, there was a middle-grade fire attribute spirit stone that he gave to Lin Changqing in her storage bag. That middle-grade spirit stone was enough for Lin Changqing to cultivate to the great perfection of key refining, and Lin Changqing was practicing a water attribute technique. They would not keep the original ore of the fire attribute spirit stone, so it would be a waste to keep the original ore of the middle-grade spirit stone. Everyone heard their decision, so the fifth and sixth brothers continued to help polish the raw stone. The raw stone was relatively large, and the two of them polished it together for nearly an hour before they polished the shell of the raw stone clean, and then washed it with clean water. The 6 people once again looked at the red middle-grade spirit stone ore Lin Changqing sighed, "Such a large piece of spirit stone ore is really beautiful. I feel a little reluctant to part with it." Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing after hearing this, and said, "Then the 12th sister, if you can't bear to part with it, you cannot sell it. Keep it in your hands as a souvenir, and take it out to look at it when you think of it in the future, so that you will feel better." Lin Changqing shook her head, "Forget it. It's better to look at it now, and there is also half of Sister Changqing in it. It's not convenient to keep it in your hands. If you exchange this ore, you can get at least more than 10,000 spirit stones. You can do a lot of things. At least my spirit beast Xiaolei has the resources for the early training." Hearing her say this, everyone laughed. After a while, when everyone had finished laughing, Lin Changqing felt that some things should be told to everyone first, so as not to happen suddenly and catch the friends off guard. So he said, "Okay, everyone listen to me. Tomorrow is the 3rd day since we came out. After noon, we will set off to go back. We should be back to Jiufeng Mountain around dusk, so there is only tomorrow morning left. It happens that the 5th brother, the 6th brother, the 10th brother and others are going to the gambling stone shop early tomorrow morning. So we don't have to toss around other places. Just take this piece of medium-grade spirit stone ore there and exchange it for low-grade spirit stone. Then after the 5th brother and others have selected the raw stones, I estimate that the time is about the same. At that time, we will leave the market and return to the family. But I estimate that the way back may not be too smooth. Everyone must be mentally prepared first." The 5th brother Lin Changqing asked quickly, "Ninth brother, have you found anything?" Lin Changqing nodded and said, "That's right. When we came back from the street stall square today, there were several stalkers following us, although we got rid of them by going through the streets and alleys in the market. But these people are local tyrants, and they are much more familiar with the environment in the market than we are. We don't know if there are any fish that have slipped through the net, so we need to be a little prepared. But even if the worst situation happens to us, it should be similar to the last time we encountered the robbery repairman. We have already had this experience, and as long as we don't panic, nothing will happen." After Lin Changqing said this, Lin Changqing and the others became excited, especially those who did not perform well last time. They were eager to try this time and prepared to perform well this time, hoping to make Lin Changqing look at them differently. Their excited expressions were a little different from what Lin Changqing had imagined, but he didn't think too much about it. He just thought they were feeling excited. Moreover, he saw that everyone did not have any expressions of fear, so he felt relieved. However, he continued to instruct, when you rest at night, you can think about it. What if you really encounter a robber cultivator? At least in a one-on-one situation, how can you kill your opponent quickly and effectively while ensuring your own safety? It is best to think of several methods, don't just prepare one. If it is cracked by others, the situation will be bad. I don't need to say this, everyone should understand. I'm not joking, you may encounter it soon, Changling, you have to think about it too, so as not to be caught off guard. Lin Changqing didn't expect that she was named by her brother, and she was asked to come up with a method of how to kill the opponent quickly and effectively. I couldn't help but widen my eyes and said, "Brother, isn't it enough for you to protect me? Besides, I'm only 12 years old, and you want me to fight and kill with those robbers?" Lin Changqing said to Lin Changling with a serious face, "Yes, Changling, I can protect you, and I can definitely protect you well, but you have to understand. This is a world of immortal cultivation where the strong prey on the weak. Those robbers will not show mercy just because you are only 12 years old. Although you may spend most of your time in Jiufeng Mountain in the future, will you never have to go out? Will there be no time in your life when you are alone? If you are in danger at that time, who do you want to rely on to protect you? So, instead of relying on this and that at that time, it is better to learn how to fight and kill from now on, and learn how to protect yourself. This is the solution to all problems. Moreover, at least now I am by your side, and I can ensure that you will not be fatally injured. There is enough time for you to learn and grow. You are much luckier than others in this regard, so you should feel lucky." Lin Changling still had no way out. She turned around and fought with Xiu all of a sudden. She was not ready yet. And she thought that she would be worry-free with her brother's protection when she went out to the market this time. Unexpectedly, her brother now wanted her to learn how to fight. She was now doubting whether the brother in front of her was her biological brother. Would he be replaced by someone else? Could she return the brother who loved her the most to her? So she couldn't help but ask again, "What if I get seriously injured?" After hearing the question asked by Lin Changling, Lin Changqing was speechless. How could he have such a silly sister? He couldn't help but sigh in his heart, knowing that this matter was too sudden. She was not prepared, and there should be a little fear in it. But he still said, "We encountered this situation last time. We didn't have much time to prepare, but we survived. And first, I can't let you get hurt so badly under my nose. Second, even if you are really seriously injured, you must be treated immediately. Can I just ignore you and give up treatment?" As soon as Lin Changqing said this, everyone who heard it couldn't help but burst into laughter. Especially Lin Changhao, he laughed so hard that he fell off his chair. The others were not much better, and they all laughed so hard that they fell down. Hearing their laughter, Lin Changling's face turned red with anger, and pearls rolled in her eyes. She shouted at Lin Changqing angrily, "Stinky brother! Stinky Lin Changqing! I will never talk to you again." After that, she ran back to her room, and even ignored the middle-grade fire spirit stone Yuan Kuang. Lin Changqing shook his head and motioned Lin Changlian to put the things away first. In fact, there is a third reason that Lin Changqing did not say, which is that his sister Lin Changling has the earth spirit root, which means that she cannot live in Jiufeng Mountain like others. Instead, she must become the protector of the family, and fighting and killing are inevitable, so it is better for her to learn to adapt from now on. Chapter 293 Return to the Gambling Stone Shop. Lin Changqing talked to everyone for a while, told them some things that needed attention, then packed up the tea set and went back to their rooms. Back in his room, Lin Changqing also reflected on himself. Was he a little too hasty with his sister? After all, she was only 12 years old, but when he thought of the responsibility she had on her shoulders, he had to be cruel. He sighed in his heart and stopped worrying about this problem. After checking the room twice with his spiritual sense and finding no problems, he activated the small 5-element maze array and entered the inner space directly. Because he had just come in not long ago, the deer did not come to bother him. Only Lu Xiaoling and Lu Xiaomin came to his side. But he was still very happy, but he couldn't feed them anymore, otherwise the other 3 colored deer would come around. So he just held the 2 little guys, stroked their fur, played with them for a while, and then got up and walked to the edge of the deep pit. Lu Xiaoling and Lu Xiaoman followed him, but when they reached a certain distance, they stopped following. Seeing their behavior, Lin Changqing was still very happy in his heart. It seemed that the last live demonstration was very effective. When he arrived near the deep pit, he opened the storage bag and let 3 pieces of top-grade spiritual stones fall directly into the deep pit for Lin Changqing to absorb and digest. After waiting for a while, he felt a happy and joyful feedback from Lin Changqing in his heart, and Lin Changqing couldn't help but smile. Thinking that his sister Lin Changqing had taken away a box of green jade tea just now, he came to the room where the spoils were placed, took away a box of spiritual tea prepared by Zhao Liu, and then directly exited the inner space. Back in the room, the next step is to practice magic and supernatural powers, as well as the Thunder Sutra. Especially the practice of Thunder Sutra, he will not stop casually. Because every time he practices Thunder Sutra, it is very hard, but every time he can really feel the progress. Lin Changqing likes this feeling of getting stronger little by little the most, which is why he likes to practice so much. After the training was completed, it was already late at night. After cleaning up the body outside, he laid down to rest. The next morning, Lin Changqing completed the basic training first, and then went to the living room to meet up with his friends. Today, when his sister Lin Changqing saw him, she said HMPH, and turned her head away and ignored him. Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing, and simply ignored her. He knew his sister best. She would get better automatically in 2 days, but if you pay attention to her, she would definitely be more excited. After everyone came together, they went to the innkeeper together, left the yard, and went straight to the gambling stone shop. When leaving the hotel, Lin Changqing's spiritual sense swept around, and soon found 2 people who were stalking in the nearby alley. However, he did not alarm the snake, but pretended not to know, and prepared to wait until the return trip to see if they would come to give spiritual stones and magic tools. Of course, this was also a small exercise and surprise specially prepared by Lin Changqing for his friends. When they arrived at the gambling stone shop, they had just opened. Lin Changqing and his group were the first customers of the gambling stone shop today. The shop partner who received them yesterday had sharp eyes and recognized them at once, and then immediately came to greet them with a smile on his face. He greeted them respectfully. "Welcome the 6 distinguished guests." Lin Changqing nodded and said, "We are old acquaintances. The 3 people behind me are also visiting a place like the gambling stone shop for the first time. Just like yesterday, you should give them a detailed introduction to the rules of the gambling stone business. We will come to you again when we want to buy raw stones later." The shop assistant nodded and said happily, "Introducing the rules is easy. Don't worry. I will leave it to you." "No problem." Then he turned to Lin Changji and the others and said, "Fifth brother, let this shop assistant introduce the rules to you first. Of course, if you have any questions, you can ask him. After you have no questions, you can start to choose raw stones by yourself. I will take them to find the boss. I will come to you after I finish the work." When Lin Changji and the other 2 arrived here, they were actually a little eager to try. They wished they could go in and choose raw stones as soon as possible. Hearing what Lin Changqing said, the 3 nodded in agreement. He talked to Lin Changqing and his 2 sisters for a few more words, and then went in with the shop assistant. Lin Changqing recruited another shop partner and took the 3 of them to find the boss. The boss was in a small private room in the gambling stone shop. When he saw the 3 of them, the boss was quite surprised. But he immediately realized that they came to him again today, and it was very likely that the raw stone gambling had increased in value. He greeted them warmly and prepared to make tea for the guests, but was stopped by Lin Changqing. He would not try anything that was imported from outside casually, so he simply stopped the boss, otherwise it would be embarrassing if he didn't drink it. He said directly, "Boss, the raw stone I bought yesterday was lucky enough to open a large piece of medium-grade fire spirit stone ore. I want you to see how many low-grade spirit stones you can exchange. If the price is right, I will exchange it for you, so that we don't have to go to Wanbao Pavilion again." Lin Changqing's words were to tell the boss to think more when bidding, and if the price is not right, they will go to Wanbao Pavilion. Of course the boss understood what he meant, and nodded repeatedly, saying, "Just come to me, I guarantee that the price you offer is the highest." Lin Changqing nodded, signaled to Lin Changlian, and when Lin Changlian took out a middle-grade spirit stone ore, the boss immediately obtained their consent, picked up the spirit stone ore, and carefully checked it from top to bottom. After confirming that there was no problem, he put the ore back. After thinking for a while, He said, "This middle-grade spirit stone ore can be exchanged for 28,000 low-grade spirit stones? What do you think?" Hearing the boss's offer, Lin Changqing's heart moved. It seemed that the middle-grade spirit stones that could be cut out of this ore were more than what Lin Changqing and his friends had expected. So Lin Changqing said, "It's a lot different from what we expected. The lowest is 35,000 low-grade spirit stones." The boss said unhappily, 30,000 spirit stones, Wanbao Pavilion can't possibly offer more than me. If you don't believe me, go ask for yourself." Lin Changqing glanced at him. "I'll give you 32,000 spirit stones, and we'll buy some spirit stones here later." The boss also stared at him and said, "At most 31,000 spirit stones. If there's more, you can sell it to Wanbao Pavilion." Although Lin Changqing knew that the boss would definitely make some money, he also felt that it was about the bottom. He turned his head to look at the two sisters, and the two nodded to him, knowing that they accepted the price. So the boss said again, "Okay, I'll listen to you. 31,000 low-grade spirit stones, I'll give it to you." The boss smiled a little, nodded, and paid 31,000 spirit stones to Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing didn't touch it, and directly divided it half on the spot, giving it to his sister and Lin Changqing. The boss quickly took away the middle-grade fire spirit stone ore, looking so nervous. Lin Changqing even doubted whether he was fooled by him and whether he sold it too cheaply. He decided that if he had a chance next time, he would get a piece and go to Wanbao Pavilion to test the waters, so that he would know whether he was fooled or not. However, Lin Changqing and his friends would need to buy raw stones later, so Lin Changqing continued, "Boss, when we buy raw stones later, remember to charge a little bit. We are your old customers." The boss smiled again, waved his hand and said, "Of course, it's no problem. You can come and take care of my business more often in the future." Lin Changqing and the other two readily agreed. Anyway, there was only one gambling stone shop in Pingyangfang City, so they would come here next time they wanted to play. Chapter 294, Total Annihilation. Afterwards, Lin Changqing took his sister and Lin Changlian, and the three of them left the private room where the boss was. When they returned to the gambling stone shop, there were already quite a few people inside, including the two people who had been following them since yesterday. They were also inside, pretending to study the raw stones, but in fact their attention was on Lin Changqing and the others. They knew that the other people had entered the private room of the gambling stone shop owner, where it was inconvenient for them to get close, so they could ensure that they would not lose them by keeping an eye on Lin Changqing and the others. Lin Changqing pretended not to know. Anyway, if they dared to leave the market later, the result would be obvious, and there was nothing to worry about with it. They found Lin Changqing and the others, but now the three of them did not gather together, but the three of them went around separately to select raw stones. My sister and Lin Changlian had just made a lot of spirit stones from gambling stones, and they were eager to try. Both of them wanted to buy more raw stones, but Lin Changling was angry with Lin Changqing and did not want to talk to him, so Lin Changlian was not in a position to speak for a while. But Lin Changqing knew what they meant, and he also wanted them to know that not every time you have good luck, you can gamble more. So he simply said to them, "Looking at you like this, I know you still want to go to gamble on stones. But this time, each person can only spend less than 500 spiritual stones here. I don't agree to spend more. If you want to go, go now." Sister and Lin Changlian cheered, and then the two of them started to choose together, and Lin Changqing himself was also inside the gambling stone shop. He looked around to see if there were any fish that slipped through the net, but unfortunately he found nothing after searching twice. He originally wanted to buy a few pieces of medium-quality raw stones, but when he thought of Lin Changqing and the others, he changed his mind and simply didn't buy anything. He found a place to sit and wait for others to choose the raw stones. The fastest ones were Sister and Lin Changlian, who picked the raw stones last. This time, the two of them bought a raw stone together again, and the size was about the same as last time. But this time, he didn't have such good luck. Anyway, Lin Changqing didn't see the halo. Then came Lin Changyin, Lin Changji, and finally Lin Changhao. They each picked a stone. The shop assistant asked the boss to come and take a look, and finally charged the sister and the others 800 spirit stones. The two stones of Lin Changyin and Lin Changji were almost the same weight, each weighing 350 spirit stones, and finally Lin Changhao's piece cost 500 spirit stones. After they paid the spirit stones, the boss said that he could help to cut a stone for free on the spot, and asked Lin Changji if they needed it. Because everyone would return to the family soon, and they didn't know when they would come out next time, so after a few people discussed it, they decided to cut a stone on the spot. In order to save time, Lin Changqing also asked the boss to find more stone cutters to cut the 4 raw stones together. As soon as someone saw someone was going to cut the stone, a circle of people immediately surrounded them. There were too many people, so Lin Changqing didn't join in the fun. After a while, there were bursts of sighs and various voices and discussions around, and the content was similar. All 4 raw stones were cut, and they were all low-grade spirit stones. Soon the crowd dispersed, and Lin Changqing approached. Seeing that several people were not in high spirits, he knew that they had all been hit. While the boss was here, Lin Changqing decided to exchange these low-grade spirit stone ores with the boss, and exchanged dozens of spirit stones for each person. After saying goodbye to the boss, Lin Changqing took them out of the gambling stone shop, ignoring the 2 little tails behind him, and the 6 people went straight out of the market. He considered that there might be a fight later, and in order not to waste Lin Changqing's spiritual energy, Lin Changqing stopped Lin Changqing from actively controlling the flying boat. Instead, he released his first-class high-quality flying boat and took everyone to the direction of Lin's Jiufeng mountain. Not long after leaving the market, he released Shui and Shure again, so that he could grasp the information of the robbery behind him. After flying for a while, seeing that his friends were still listless, especially Lin Changqing and the other 3, he laughed in his heart and decided to give them something exciting. So he said, "Okay, my brothers and sisters, we have guests coming, and there are 2 groups of robber cultivators following us. They have been following us since we left the market town. Both groups are standard teams of 5 people. Everyone get ready. They will catch up soon." As soon as Lin Changqing finished speaking, the 5 friends woke up instantly, and hurriedly got up and looked around, looking for the robber cultivators that Lin Changqing mentioned. Lin Changqing looked behind him and asked quickly, "Brother Jiu, is it the small black dot behind us? Why do I only see a group of people?" Lin Changqing also said, "Yes, I only saw a flying boat following behind us, but I didn't see the other one. Could we be mistaken?" Lin Changqing chuckled and said, "Don't worry. It's not wrong. It was Chui and Shure who discovered it. The other one is still behind. I guess they want to reap the benefits. Everyone listen to my arrangements first. I will find a suitable place to land in a moment. It's still the same old method as before. Everyone put on a few more layers of defense shields first, and then hide yourself. When those robbers catch up, I will shout fight." When they heard Lin Changqing's words, each of them activated 3 fireball talismans and focused their fire on the first cultivator who spoke. Then, for the remaining 4 cultivators, 6th brother and 10th brother, you 2 have lower cultivation levels, so join forces to deal with one. As for the remaining 5th brother, 12th sister, and Shangling, you each deal with one, and I will support you in the middle. Have you thought of the method of quickly killing the opponent that I asked you to think of last night? You will use it later." Everyone is still excited. When they heard what Lin Changqing said, they nodded. Obviously, everyone has thought of 1 or 2 methods, but they don't know whether they will be useful. However, Lin Changqing is here, and there are only 10 cultivators in the key refining stage, so they really can't cause any trouble. After flying for a while in the direction of Jiufeng Mountain, it is estimated that they are 100 or 200 miles away from the market town. Lin Changqing finally saw a suitable place. This place is a huge and spacious valley, surrounded by hills. There are large tracts of woods in the valley. It is the natural hunting ground for the purple crystal scorpion. Lin Changqing pressed the flying boat and landed directly in the valley. Then, he immediately released all the 1st and 2nd level purple crystal scorpions. They disappeared quickly and then quickly spread around Lin Changqing and his companions, on the ground, branches, and tree trunks. The 10 second-level purple crystal scorpions formed a larger circle. Lin Changqing was not going to use them, just in case. Everyone began to put on a protective shield for themselves and prepared offensive and defensive magic tools and talismans. Most of them had 3 layers of defense, and only his sister Lin Changqing had 5 layers. However, this was her first time to participate in the real fight between cultivators. It was inevitable that she was a little nervous, and no one would laugh at her. Lin Changqing also made 3 layers of protective shields for himself. In fact, he didn't need them, but he still made a gesture, in case something special happened later and the boat capsized in the gutter. When everyone was ready and hid and put on the invisibility talisman, the first group of robbers arrived. They chose a relatively open place with fewer trees around to land, about 50 feet away from Lin Changqing and his companions. Chapter 295 The Mantis is Coming. In fact, at this distance, Lin Changqing was confident that he could kill a tribulation cultivator who didn't open the protective shield with a palm thunder. However, he was just thinking about it in his mind. These tribulation cultivators should be left to his sister and friends to practice. 5 tribulation cultivators in their 20s and 30s came down from the flying boat. Their cultivation ranged from the 4th to the 7th level of key refining. Seeing this, Lin Changqing felt more relieved. They could fight. The cultivation levels on both sides would not be too different. The oldest and most powerful robbery cultivator said, "Everyone must be careful this time. These little guys are all from the family, they should not be simple, and they look very smart. Don't capsize here." One of the robbery cultivators at the 6th level of key refining said, "Don't worry, boss. Those little guys are all in their teens, and they probably just left the mountain gate and came out to see the world. I don't think they are that powerful, but they may have protective treasures given by their elders. Everyone must be careful of such things." That's the truth. The other robbery cultivators also felt that what the man said made sense, and nodded in agreement. It seems that the first person to speak is the boss of the robbery cultivators. When the friends heard someone calling him boss, they automatically locked onto him. Although there was no movement on the ground, the sky was already very lively. Chui and Chur were fighting with a green-feathered eagle. This green-feathered eagle should be the spiritual beast raised by this group of robbery cultivators, and its function should be similar to that of Chui and Chur. It was also a late-stage first-order cultivator. Its body was larger than the 2 golden-winged birds, and its combat power seemed to be stronger than that of the golden-winged birds. It had been attacking Chur. Fortunately, Chuyu was there to help. The 2-on-1 fight in the sky was very intense. Wind blades flew everywhere, and the sound of birds and eagles continued. There were sporadic golden and blue feathers falling. This blue-feathered eagle was very smart. It knew to attack the weaker Chur first. If it was a 1-on-1 fight, Chur would definitely not be able to do it. Fortunately, there was Chu Yi, and Lin Changqing was not worried about them. Wait a minute, if it really couldn't do it, wouldn't there be a second-order purple crystal scorpion? At that time, let Chuyi and the others fly lower and lure the blue-feathered eagle over. The second-order purple crystal scorpion can be solved with a round of volleys. On the ground, there was also new progress. 5 robbery cultivators each had 3 layers of defense shields, holding offensive and defensive magic tools in their hands, covering each other, and touched over. When Lin Changqing estimated that the distance was about the same, he whispered "fight," and his friends suddenly appeared. He activated the talisman in his hand, and then cast 15 fireballs, heading straight for the GXIU boss who was slightly ahead. He was so scared that he screamed, but the distance of 10 feet still gave him a little time to react. He desperately urged the first-grade superior defense magic weapon he had been holding in his hand, a golden shield, which was raised in front of him. However, he was in such a hurry that he could only barely withstand the attack of the first 7 or 8 fireballs, and the shield magic weapon was blown away. The remaining 7 or 8 fireballs all hit his defense shield. The 3 layers of defense shield offset 3 fireballs, and the remaining ones exploded on the body of GXIU boss, blowing him to pieces on the spot, with flames and blood flying everywhere. At this time, taking advantage of the cover of the fire and sound waves, the friends immediately rushed out and attacked the selected opponents. Kei Changji's opponent was a key refining level 5 tribulation cultivator. They both had the same cultivation level, but Lin Changqing still took advantage of the sudden attack and threw 3 fireball charms at his opponent. Then he controlled the flying sword to attack, and then flipped his hand and triggered 3 more fireball charms. The attacks came one after another, and the opponent was beaten everywhere. Lin Changqing and Lin Changhao also chosen key refining level 5 tribulation cultivator. Originally, they were both key refining level 4 and chose a key refining level 6 tribulation cultivator as their opponent, but that tribulation cultivator was snatched away by Lin Changqing first. In the end, only the weakest one, the key refining level 4 tribulation cultivator, was left to his younger sister Lin Changqing. Of course, it was obvious that everyone took care of her. After all, it was the first time she faced a tribulation cultivator directly, and the weakest one was specially left for her. The performance of this little girl Lin Changqing also made Lin Changqing quite speechless, making him angry and amused. He didn't know whether to praise her or scold her. Facing her opponent, she first activated 3 fireball talismans directly, using the explosion of the fireballs to confuse the opponent's vision, and then threw the yin li zhu given by her grandfather at the opponent. Boom! After a low thunder, the opponent immediately twitched violently and fell to the ground. Lin Changqing's consciousness swept over and confirmed that he had died. This is also the reason why Lin Changqing wanted to scold her. A garbage robbery cultivator at the 4th level of key refining actually wasted a yin li zhu, which made Lin Changqing's eyelids jump. But now they are in a battle, and Lin Changqing can't say anything about her immediately. He simply observed the robbery cultivator who was killed by the yin li zhu. There were no obvious injuries on the surface of his body, but the hair on the surface of the body had some traces of burned marks, and at this time, the 7 orifices began to bleed. Seeing this, Lin Changqing understood a little bit. The damage caused by this kind of yin li zhu should be more targeted at the internal organs of the body, directly destroying the internal organs. No wonder it is called yin li zhu, it is really very yin. Although he also practiced Kishu yin li, he had never used it on others, and he still didn't know what the specific effect was. But the Jingjin Xin li he practiced was effective. When it hit a monster or a cultivator, the result was that the body was torn into pieces. Lin Changqing was the first to achieve victory. From the death of the leader of the robbery cultivator to the death of Lin Changqing's opponent, it took less than 10 breaths. Then, Lin Changqing heard another very different eagle cry, very loud, a little tragic, and a little unwilling. Then the blue-feathered eagle paused in the air. Chui Yanchur seized the opportunity and used 2 wind blades to leave 2 more than 1 foot long cuts on its body and wings. Then it fell straight to the ground from a high altitude, and with a loud bang, it was killed on the spot. Lin Changqing knew that it was not Chui Yanchur who defeated the opponent, but their opponent, who suffered the backlash of the contract because of the death of the master. This gave Chui Yanchur a chance, but being in the sky, even if Chui Yanchur didn't attack it, it would most likely fall down and die. After Lin Changqing knocked down her opponent, she quickly added another sword. She had no spiritual awareness and didn't know that her opponent had already died. After confirming that her opponent was dead, she turned around to help Lin Changqing, but she didn't rush over to help, but leaned against Lin Changqing. That's right, leaning against her brother Lin Changqing. She felt that this might be the safest place in the whole venue. Then she saw the opportunity and activated 3 fireball talismans towards Lin Changqing's opponent. With Lin Changqing's 3 fireball talismans, it formed a pincer attack effect, followed by a flying sword piercing attack. Lin Changqing's opponent was now in a panic. The situation suddenly took a sharp turn for the worse. The eldest brother was killed by a surprise attack, and then the 5th brother died. Now he was attacked from both sides again. The 3 layers of defense shield on his body had been broken long ago. He only relied on a high-quality defense shield to protect himself. Now he was attacked from both sides, and he couldn't stop it. As he was distracted, Lin Changqing seized the opportunity and pierced his heart with a sword, and Lin Changqing added another sword. Then the 2 smiled at each other, and in tacit understanding, they each activated 3 fireball talismans towards Lin Changqing's opponent. The terrified Xiu screamed and tried to break out regardless of the consequences, but he still couldn't escape the pincer attack of the 3 flying swords. Lin Changqing's flying sword pierced his heart, and then 2 flying swords pierced his body, almost piercing him like a sieve. In the end, there were only 2 opponents left, Lin Changqing and Lin Changhao. Under the joint efforts of the 2, they could not make any waves at all and were forced to dodge left and right. Moreover, he couldn't run away. Seeing the other 3 people also surrounded him, he was scared and cried, collapsed and threw away the magic weapon, and knelt down to beg for mercy. It was a pity that Lin Changqing remembered him the most. He was the one who had followed them for 2 days, so how could he let him go? After Lin Changqing shook his head, he finally died under the joint attack of 5 people, and died more miserably than Lin Changqing's opponent. After all 5 robbery cultivators were killed, Lin Changqing nodded. Although there were still many problems, it was much better than the last performance. Chapter 296 The Yellow Bird also suffers. Moreover, from the time when the friends raided the robbery leader to the time when the last robbery was killed by the 5 people, the whole time was very short, maybe less than 180 breaths. Lin Changqing was about to comment on them, but unexpectedly, he received another warning from Chui, telling him that another group of robbery was already 7 or 8 miles away. So Lin Changqing said, "We have another guest coming, already 7 or 8 miles away, You all should take the Hulang pill first. Then everyone quickly clean up the battlefield, pick up the storage bags and magic weapons first, find a storage bag to put the corpse in, and prepare for the next battle. Lin Changqing suddenly said at this time, Brother Jiu, I don't have many attack talismans, but I still have a few defense talismans. What should I do? Lin Changqing also said, Yet, I'm about the same, I don't prepare so many attack talismans. Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing after hearing this. He didn't have anything else, but he had a lot of talismans in his storage bag. So he said, This is easy. I have a lot of them here. You can take them. After that, he took out more than a dozen talismans, both for attack and defense. These were the spoils he had accumulated. Last time, he caught a talisman maker and seized a lot of talismans from his storage bag. Moreover, Lin Changqing rarely used these things. He might occasionally use a few defensive talismans. The others were thrown into the storage bag, taking up space and gathering dust. Now it was just right to take them out for everyone to use. At this time, it was a matter of life and death. No one was polite to Lin Changqing. 5 people came up to take some. The attack talismans in the base were basically distributed by them, leaving 24 defensive talismans for Lin Changqing. It was still the same routine. Everyone had just won a big victory, and everyone was full of confidence, including Lin Changqing, who is the smartest but also the most afraid of death. The friends still did the same as before. They first found a place to hide, and then put on the invisibility talisman. In fact, although Lin Changqing and the others quickly cleaned up the battlefield. However, if you look closely, you can still see traces of fighting. At least when the fireball exploded just now, it destroyed a lot of trees around. But Lin Changqing was betting that they would definitely come to check, so he did not lead his friends to move the battlefield. He also absorbed the lessons learned just now and asked Chu Ai and Shuer to fly forward and fly farther away from here. Not long after doing these things, a flying boat landed near the battlefield just now, about 20 to 30 feet away from where Lin Changqing and his friends were hiding. 5 people came down from the flying boat, all of them middle-aged monks in their 40s. Lin Changqing sensed it and found that the 5 people who came had high cultivation. 2 were in the 6th level of key refining, 2 were in the 7th level of key refining, and 1 was in the 8th level of key refining. They were all mid to late stage key refining monks. For the friends, the strength of the opponent this time was a bit strong. If the friends had any major damage, he would not be able to explain to the clan leader, so he was going to balance it manually, otherwise it would be easy to have problems. At this time, a key refining level 7 tribulation cultivator said, Brother, it seems that the situation is a little wrong. One of the 2 groups in front must be very powerful. In less than a cup of tea, the opponent was killed and the battlefield was cleaned up. Otherwise, we should stop chasing them. The leader of the key refining level 8 tribulation cultivator glared at him and said, Stop talking nonsense. It's been so long since we met such a fat sheep. How can we let it go easily? I estimate that those little guys must have a lot of spiritual stones and spiritual objects in their storage bags. Maybe, the harvest this time is enough to buy a foundation building pill. And they ended the battle in such a short time. They must have used all the means at the bottom of the box. So they are now 9 out of 10. They should be strong on the outside but weak on the inside. It's just right to catch up with them at this time. Now they dare not fly in the boat. They must want to get away under the cover of the woods. Let's go. Let's catch up quickly. After saying that, he led the way and rushed towards Lin Changqing and the others. The distance of 20 or 30 feet was passed in an instant. Attack! Lin Changqing shouted in a low voice. 15 fireballs are heading straight for the robber cultivator who is leading the charge in front. This time, Lin Changqing learned from the previous experience and deliberately controlled the distance of the attack. He waited until there was only about 6 or 7 feet before he ordered his friends to attack. Facts have proved that Lin Changqing's decision was correct. This distance did not give him much chance to react. The 3-layer defense shield was broken as soon as it was heard, and the defense magic weapon in his hand was not activated in time. The whole person had been blown to pieces by at least 10 fireballs. For a while, there were flames, sounds, blood, flesh and internal organs flying everywhere. At the same time, Lin Changqing had taken advantage of the current chaotic gap and raised his hand. 3 golden silk escape light needles formed a straight line and shot straight at the face of a robber cultivator of the 7th level of key refining. The three-layer defense shield was still a little short of the needle-shaped magic weapon that was specially designed to break shields and shields. All of them were broken as soon as it was heard, barely offsetting the attack of the first two escape light needles. The third needle of light shot into his forehead and out from the back of his head. He didn't even have time to scream before his body paused and fell to the ground. The two most powerful tribulation cultivators died in a very short time. Lin Changqing grasped the time very accurately, and there might not even be a breath of time between them. The friends also rushed out. The younger sister and Lin Changqing intercepted the most powerful tribulation cultivator, who was the one who wanted to persuade the leader of the tribulation cultivators to retreat. Lin Changqing and Lin Changhao intercepted a tribulation cultivator at the 6th level of key refining. In the end, Lin Changji had no choice but to directly face the remaining one. At this time, the remaining 3 tribulation cultivators also reacted. Their first reaction was to stop and retreat, trying to quickly get out of the ambush range. However, the friends definitely disagreed. Their actions were surprisingly consistent, which was to activate the attack talismans in their hands and then control the flying swords to attack. Fireballs, wooden spikes, golden swords, water swords, ground spikes, wind blades, all kinds of things, basically all taken out by Lin Changqing, only he had such a variety of spiritual talismans. And this time Lin Changji also learned to be smart, and did not attack his opponent, but cooperated with Lin Changqing and the other two to attack the 6th level robbery cultivator from 3 sides. The 9 spiritual talismans attacked with 3 flying swords behind them, and there was no way for the robbery cultivator to escape. Even though he had activated the 1st level superior defense magic weapon that he had been holding in his hand, a tortoise-shell shield magic weapon, and a 3-layer defense shield on his body, and he was still desperately running his body skills, but nothing worked. The tortoise-shell defense magic weapon was blown away, and the 3-layer defense shield was broken immediately. In the end, Lin Changji pierced through the heart with a sword, and Lin Changqing and Lin Changhao added 2 more swords. He couldn't die anymore. 3 companions were killed in a short period of time, and the other 2 robbery cultivators were so scared that their livers and gallbladders were broken, and they were desperately fleeing. Among them, Lin Changji's original opponent was the luckiest and in the best situation. He was holding a first-grade top-grade defensive magic weapon, a wooden defensive shield, and the 3 layers of defense on his body were also intact because no one attacked him. Chapter 297 Uninvited Guests. The situation of the sister and Lin Changqing's opponents was worse. The top-grade defensive magic weapons on their bodies had been blown away, and only 1 layer of the 3-layer defense shield remained. Fortunately, they had already fought hard and escaped a distance of 5 or 6 feet, and there was no intention to stop at all. It was obvious that they were determined to escape from here. Even Lin Changqing had seen them reaching into the storage bag. At this time, the things they took out of the storage bag were either to escape or to fight. Lin Changqing did not allow either of these 2 situations, and it was obviously too late for the friends to catch up with him. So there was no choice. Lin Changqing could only choose to do it himself, otherwise they would all run away. So with a thought, the 1st-level purple crystal scorpions that had been scattered around early in the morning, and the ones close to them, immediately rushed up. The first one to be unlucky was the robbery cultivator, who had only 1 layer of defense shield left. A purple crystal scorpion pounced directly on him from the tree trunk, and its tail needle pierced the last layer of defense shield in one go. Stung on his back, a sharp and shrill scream rang out. This scream was so sudden that it frightened everyone except Lin Changqing. Then the robbery cultivator fell to the ground, his whole body began to twitch violently, and he even arched his body in pain, and fell heavily to the ground again. Then the 2nd and 3rd purple crystal scorpions rushed up again, wanting to hide him a few more times, but Lin Changqing suddenly had an idea and hurriedly stopped them. Just now, Lin Changqing suddenly thought of something, so he decided to keep this person alive first, so that he could still be of some use later. And now he couldn't run away in this state, so Lin Changqing ignored him. The remaining robbery cultivator also failed to run away. The defensive magic weapon on his body could only protect one side after being activated, but several 1st-level purple crystal scorpions attacked him from different directions and angles, branches, trunks, and the ground. The defensive magic weapon did block the 2 purple crystal scorpions on the tree, but there were more on the ground. The 3-layer defense shield was broken very quickly. Then 2 shrill and sharp screams sounded, one louder than the other, but they stopped suddenly soon. Several purple crystal scorpions surrounded him at once, and one stung him and sent him away. When he was stung by the first purple crystal scorpion, Lin Changqing saw what he took out of his storage bag, a first-grade top-grade Earth Escape Talisman. This kind of talisman is most suitable for running away and escaping. Lin Changqing and Lin Changqing both have this kind of thing in their storage bags, both of which were given by their mothers. In fact, in this environment, the wood escape talisman should be used. Using the earth escape talisman may be blocked by things like tree roots. But unfortunately, he was a step slower. If he had successfully activated and used it, he might have really escaped. Unfortunately, when he was stung by the purple crystal scorpion, he suffered a double attack on his body and soul. In such a painful situation, he couldn't control his body. It is basically impossible for anyone to control the spiritual energy in his body normally to activate the talisman or magic weapon. So in the end he didn't run away. The friends had seen the purple crystal scorpion attack before, and they also knew that Lin Changqing was here and had arranged some backup plans, so they were not surprised. Perhaps, only the younger sister Lin Changqing was very familiar with the purple crystal scorpion, and even often played with him. She had also seen the attack power of the second-level purple crystal scorpion. But she had never seen their reaction after attacking cultivators or monsters, so she didn't know they were so powerful. Once stung by them, they basically lost the ability to resist, and it still looked so painful. After listening to the screams of the two robber cultivators, she still felt very uncomfortable in her ears. If she had known that being stung by them would have such terrible consequences, she would definitely not dare to play with them like that. Fortunately, they never lost control and there were no accidents. The time it took to kill this group of robber cultivators this time was shorter than the first time just now, mainly because of Lin Changqing's action. It was equivalent to him killing 3 robber cultivators by himself, and he was somewhat disappointed that he did not achieve the effect of training his sister and friends. But now the dust has settled, but because this place is only 100 or 200 miles away from the market, it is hard to guarantee that no one will pass by here. So Lin Changqing didn't want to stay here for too long, especially when there were a few screams just now. It was even more likely to expose the location here, so he couldn't stay here for long. So he said directly, "Everyone work together, quickly clean up the battlefield, collect all the storage bags and magic tools first. Then put the bodies in the storage bags and take them away together, and clear all traces that can track us." After that, Lin Changqing was about to deal with the only survivor, preparing to put them in the spirit beast bag and take them away. But what you fear will come, and suddenly a voice came. "It's really exciting. I didn't expect to see such a wonderful duel when I came out to travel this time. Today is a small eye-opener. I didn't expect that a small Pingyang prefecture could actually cultivate such a powerful key-refining cultivator. The core disciples of the 6 major sects may not be as good as you." The sudden voice scared Lin Changqing and the other 6 people, especially in the current situation where enemies and friends are not distinguished. Lin Changqing quickly mobilized his spiritual sense to sweep around, trying to find the person, but unfortunately, within the limit of his spiritual sense of 100 feet, there was no shadow of anyone. Now he was a little regretful. In order to make the group of robbers think that they had left, he sent Shui and Shuer to the front to mislead them. Unexpectedly, a carelessness actually allowed others to get close to them, but he was not too nervous. He had the Xianshan merit true eye, and his right eye had not twitched, which proved that either the other party had no ill intentions, or his cultivation was not that high, and it was within the range that Lin Changqing and Lin Changqing could deal with. It was nothing more than relying on the fact that his spiritual sense was stronger than Lin Changqing's, and pretending to be a ghost there. After thinking everything through, he was not too worried. He raised his hand and signaled his friends to stay calm. However, several of them had already gathered around him spontaneously. Lin Changqing looked up at the sky and shouted, "It's that senior who has come. Please show yourself." As soon as he finished shouting, a middle-aged cultivator with his hands behind his back and a high-grade spiritual flying sword appeared in front of Lin Changqing and his companions. He did not land, but stopped in the air 20 to 30 feet away from them. Lin Changqing looked at the spiritual flying sword under his feet. That's right. It was a spiritual weapon. He had a lot of them in his thunder acupoints, so he would definitely not make a mistake. And the spiritual pressure from the cultivator opposite was about the same as that of the clan leader, so he was not nervous. He was just a cultivator in the late stage of foundation building, and he was not someone he had seen before. and he foolishly entered the encirclement of the second-level purple crystal scorpion, so Lin Changqing was even less afraid. The 6 people all greeted each other. "We are here to meet you, senior." After all, they had studied in the family academy, and they knew that when they met seniors, they should greet each other first. The man nodded, his eyes still fixed on Lin Changqing, and said, "I am Wan Yuanqing from the Yuling sect. I think Xiaopeng has a good talent in controlling spirits. I wonder if he is interested in joining our Yuling sect." Lin Changqing shook his head and refused. "I'm sorry, senior, I already have a master. My master is Yang Shizhenren from the Qingyuan sect. Thank you for your kindness." Wan Yuanqing looked at the people behind him and was a little unconvinced, but he didn't say anything. Letting Lin Changqing join the Yuling sect was not his main goal. He was attracted by Lin Changqing's purple crystal scorpion. He had seen a record of this kind of spirit scorpion in an ancient book, so he showed up to contact Lin Changqing and the others. He continued to say to Lin Changqing, "Those purple spirit scorpions should be yours, right? I wonder if you can transfer them to me. I am willing to repay you with 50,000 spirit stones or a foundation building pill. What do you think?" Lin Changqing shook his head again and said, "I'm sorry, senior. They are like my children who I raised since they were young. I can't transfer them to others. Please forgive me." Hearing that Lin Changqing rejected him again, Wan Yuanqing couldn't help but frown and said impatiently, "My friend, you have to think about it carefully. I know that you must have a contract with these purple spirit scorpions. For their sake, I can't touch you. But the people around you don't have it? Do you want me to kill 2 of them to make you sober?" If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 298. Have you ever thought about dying here? As soon as Wan Yuanqing finished speaking, several of his friends around him were worried and scared. His sister Lin Changqing was even more scared and leaned against Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing gently patted his sister beside him, which was a little comfort to the little girl. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. He really didn't want to use the second-level purple crystal scorpion casually. Lin Changqing glanced at Wan Yuanqing and said, "Senior, I can agree to your request, but I want 50,000 spirit stones and a foundation building pill." Wan Yuanqing couldn't help but show a mocking expression when he heard this, and looked up and down at Lin Changqing. Then he said, "Originally, I wanted to give face to Yang Shizhenren of Qingyuan sect and the territory of Qingyuan sect, but you are so greedy, so I don't need to be polite to you. Now transfer those purple spirit scorpions to me, and I will let the 6 of you live." Hearing him say this, Lin Changqing was actually more or less prepared. What he said before about 50,000 spirit stones or foundation building pills was probably just a test of Lin Changqing. Nodding, Lin Changqing looked at Wan Yuanqing seriously and said, "Senior Wan, can I ask you a question?" Wan Yuanqing raised his eyebrows, but still said, "Ask if you want to. Whether I answer you or not depends on my mood." Lin Changqing nodded, stared into his eyes and asked, "Senior Wan, you have come out from afar to travel. Have you ever thought that you will die here?" "What?" Wan Yuanqing was about to ask what Lin Changqing meant, but it was obvious that Lin Changqing had already answered him with practical actions. 10 different directions, 10 purple rays, attacked at a distance of 60 or 70 feet. When Wan Yuanqing appeared, he did not have any defensive measures, but he believed that he deserved this small scene. Moreover, he was wearing a top-grade defensive spiritual weapon that could automatically defend against various raids. Besides, facing several young cultivators in the key refining stage, he could not do it with several layers of defensive shields, and he could not lose face. However, it was precisely because of this self-confidence and his stubborn behavior that cost him his life. The 3-layer defense shield automatically activated by the top-grade defense spiritual weapon barely offset 3 purple rays. The remaining 7 purple rays all shot at him, 2 of which hit his head, and the remaining 5 hit his body. The distance was 60 or 70 feet, and it was a soul and light ray attack. The speed was too fast. Wan Yuanqing basically couldn't react. Even with a 3-layer shield activated by the top-grade defense spiritual weapon, he didn't get enough reaction time. He was shot and received directly in the air, dead as he could be, and fell to the ground with a bang. The scene suddenly changed so much that the friends were stunned and didn't react at all. It was still Lin Changqing who calmly said, "Why are you still stunned? Clean up the battlefield immediately." We have to leave here quickly. The friends woke up from their dreams, forced themselves to calm down the excitement in their hearts, and took action one after another. Lin Changqing himself was not idle either. He walked over and tied up the only survivor carefully, and then stuffed him into the spirit beast bag. Then he went to the place where King fell, and collected his storage bag, 3 spirit beasts, his equipment, and the dropped high-grade spirit flying sword. Lin Changqing found a storage bag specifically to pack his body, including the blood spilled on the ground. Lin Changqing used his spiritual sense to search carefully within a radius of 20 to 30 feet. Lin Changqing collected everything related to King, including tiny flesh and blood tissues, and even blood spilled on leaves. He even scraped off a layer of the ground. Anyway, he used his spiritual sense and eyes to search carefully several times. He wanted to make sure that no one could find any useful clues here. If the news of killing King leaked out, the small Lin family could not withstand the wrath of the Yuling sect. While Lin Changqing was doing these things, his friends were not idle either. They had cleaned up the battlefield. Lin Changqing checked it twice to confirm that there was no problem. Only after the contract was passed, all the first-level purple crystal scorpions were recalled. Then, pretending to go around the periphery, he secretly recalled all the second-level purple crystal scorpions. Then Hao took everyone away from here. Before leaving, he was worried and asked everyone to use fireball magic to bombard the place where King fell, including the area within 20 feet nearby, to ensure that there was no risk before leaving. Everyone on the flying boat was very excited. After all, they killed a foundation-building cultivator, and a cultivator from a big sect like Yuling sect. After flying for a while, Lin Changqing saw that everyone's emotions had almost calmed down. He then spoke. I know everyone is very excited now, but I have something to say, which is related to the safety of us and our family. The 3 groups of people we met today, all of us must speak with one voice. We only met 2 groups of robbers, and the foundation-building cultivator of the Yuling sect must not admit it even if we are beaten to death. If a foundation-building cultivator from a large sect like the Yuling sect goes out to travel and informs the sect of his approximate destination in advance, he will suddenly die. The sect behind him will definitely send someone to investigate the cause, and even if there is a powerful background behind him, they may send a purple mansion cultivator with a higher cultivation level to investigate. So, from now on, let's not mention this matter again, just as if nothing happened. Don't mention this person again in the future, let alone let anyone know, including our parents, elders and clan leaders. It's best to completely forget this person from now on. After all, the Yuling sect is a behemoth for our family, an existence that cannot be resisted. You all don't want a day when Jiufeng Mountain is trampled by the monks of Yuling sect and your clan members and relatives are mercilessly killed, right? Therefore, including me, everyone must swear a great oath of the Dao heart to ensure that no one will accidentally leak this matter. Let's start with me now. After that, he began to swear, heaven and earth are witnesses, the Dao. After hearing the content of Lin Changqing's oath, everyone followed suit, just changing their names. After everyone had sworn the great oath of the Dao heart, Lin Changqing felt relieved. In this way, as long as you don't deliberately want to reveal those contents, but just want to mention them inadvertently, you will be warned by the great oath of the Dao heart. Nodding. He continued, looking at what he said just now, I guess that the unlucky guy's storage bag should have a lot of things in it. But we can't use most of the things in it. Maybe only spiritual stones and some elixirs can be used. I will find a place to destroy all the other things, including his equipment, and the 3 spirit beast bags and the spirit beasts inside. Lin Changqing said at this time, Ninth brother is right. We don't have to covet these little things and bring danger to the family. The friends also understood this truth and nodded in agreement. Lin Changqing was very pleased that all the friends were people who could take the overall situation into consideration, so he continued, now we are on the flying boat, the place is too small and inconvenient. There are a total of 10 robbery cultivators in the 2 groups. Let's all give the things on them to Changlian. Tomorrow morning, everyone will meet in my yard at Aoyan Peak, and then we will distribute these things. Hearing about the division of spoils, the friends were all happy and agreed. Everyone had experienced this before, and it was the same before, so everyone automatically handed over the spoils they had collected on the battlefield to Lin Changlian. Lin Changqing also handed over all the things on the prisoner, but the things of the foundation-building cultivator were still in his hands. Chapter 299 Control Range. At this time, The sixth brother Lin Changqing said, "The useful things have been handed over, so what should we do with these useless things?" After saying that, he shook a storage bag in his hand. Everyone knew what was in it, so they all hid away in disgust. There were 9 corpses of the robbers in it. According to the previous treatment method, they should have thrown a few fireballs directly to burn them into ashes to nourish the earth. However, at that time, Lin Changqing considered that burning these corpses would definitely expose their location, so he asked his friends to put them all in the storage bag first. Lin Changqing took a look and said, "Give it to me. When the time comes, I will deal with it together with the corpse of the foundation building cultivator. I guarantee that no trace will be left." Lin Changqing quickly handed the storage bag in his hand to Lin Changqing. To be honest, he was asked to carry so many salted fish. He always felt a little awkward in his heart, and he couldn't help but think about how they looked when they died. Now that Lin Changqing is willing to take over, that's the best, and he can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Lin Changqing didn't feel anything. After all, he had handled quite a few stinky salted fish, so he didn't mind adding a few more. At this time, Lin Changqing asked, "Ninth brother, can you tell us what those purple rays are about?" Lin Changqing also said, "Yes. I also want to know very much. I have been holding it in from just now. If 10th brother doesn't ask, I will ask too." Lin Changqing also asked, "Ninth brother, those things are so powerful. Are they the means of self-defense given to you by great-grandmother?" Lin Changqing also nodded and said, "In fact, I have been thinking about various possibilities since I came up just now, but after thinking about it, only great-grandmother has such magical means on our side. After all, killing a cultivator in the late stage of foundation building with one blow is really too horrifying." Now among all the people, only Lin Changqing and his sister know what's going on. And when he went to collect the 10-second level purple crystal scorpions just now, Lin Changqing also let them remain invisible until they were put into the spirit beast bracelet. So the friends only saw the first order purple crystal scorpion, but not the second order one. He had been thinking about what excuse to use to fool them. Unexpectedly, the 5th and 6th brothers had already thought about it for him, which was exactly what he wanted. So he suddenly had an idea and just followed their words and continued talking. So he nodded and said, "Yes, after this beast died, I accepted an extra task. I went to do something for my great-grandmother. When I returned to hand it in after completing it, I just knew that something happened to the family. So I insisted on coming back." The great-grandmother also considered that this matter involved the foundation building cultivators, so she gave this thing. Unfortunately, it takes a long time to recover after using it once, and it cannot be used frequently. And when I came back, I told the clan leader about this matter as soon as possible. He asked me to keep it secret and not to disclose it at will, so I didn't show it to everyone. After speaking, Lin Changqing deliberately stretched out his hand and pinched his sister Lin Changqing's little hand. After all, she knew the truth. Fortunately, his sister was smart and didn't speak it out casually. Everyone was relieved. After all, it was too shocking just now. A cultivator in the late stage of foundation building could be killed at will. It really refreshed the cognition they had built up since childhood. You know, in their cognition, a cultivator in the late stage of foundation building can protect a family for more than 100 years. Several friends, including Lin Changqing, have always believed that the foundation building period is the end of their struggle. Now they found that the friend who grew up with them was actually able to kill a cultivator in the late stage of foundation building. How could they not be shocked? After listening to Lin Changqing's explanation, several friends nodded to show their understanding. Lin Changqing continued, "And about this treasure, please know it yourself. It's good that there is such a thing. Don't mention it to anyone again. Otherwise, it will be very disadvantageous to us and the family if it is leaked. It's better to be like before." Although Lin Changqing only said like before and did not say the words of the Dao Heart Great Oath, the friends were very smart and understood it by themselves in an instant. So the 5th brother Lin Changqing was the most straightforward. He was the first to raise his hand and swore the Dao Heart Oath again. Then the 6th brother, the 10th brother, the 12th sister, and even his own sister Lin Changqing joined in the fun and swore the Dao Heart Oath. In this way, Lin Changqing controlled this little secret among a few friends and prevented it from being spread widely. Lin Changqing also reflected at this time and asked, "Is it because you have the treasure given by the great-grandmother this time? The clan leader agreed to let you take us out to play in the market, because with you, he doesn't have to worry about our safety." Changqing nodded and said, "This is not too clear, but when I asked the clan leader to take you out to play, he should have considered this aspect." Lin Changhao's eyes were full of stars when he heard it, and he hurriedly said, "Ninth brother, then you have to take us out to play more often. It's too boring to stay in the ancestral mountain every day." Lin Changji chuckled and said, "10th brother, don't worry, wait 2 years and you can go out to play as you like, and you can go out to play for half a year each time." Hearing him say this, everyone laughed. Lin Changlian suddenly thought of something and asked with a smile, "Ninth brother, how is our performance this time?" After asking, he looked at Lin Changqing expectantly, obviously wanting him to comment on it. The others also pricked up their ears to listen. Lin Changqing did have something to say about the 2 battles, but it was mainly directed at his sister. So he said, "Needless to say, everyone's performance this time is much better than last time, and everyone has made great progress. It's just that the cultivation of the 6th brother and the 10th brother is a little bit worse, so they still need to work hard to practice in the future. The performance of the 5th brother this time has made the biggest improvement compared to the last time. He killed 2 robber cultivators and performed the best among everyone. The 12th sister is about the same. She killed 1 robber cultivator, which is considered a normal performance." Lin Changlian was a little disappointed. He thought he could get a higher evaluation from Lin Changqing. After Lin Changqing finished speaking, he looked at his sister Lin Changling and saw that she was also waiting for his evaluation with expectation. That little look of wanting Lin Changqing to praise her could not be hidden. Originally, Lin Changqing wanted to scold her severely for her performance just now, but seeing her like this, he couldn't bear it, so he changed his mind temporarily and decided to encourage her. So he commented, "Xiolinger, this is your first time participating in a life and death battle between cultivators. To be able to perform like this is much better than I expected. And the most rare thing is that you have achieved the result of killing a robber cultivator, which is considered to be a supernormal performance. And you have a good judgment of the situation on the battlefield, which can be said to be very talented in combat." Lin Changling was very happy to receive such a high evaluation from her brother. She had long forgotten the decision she made last night to ignore her stinky brother and stinky Lin Changqing. The smile on her face could no longer be concealed, but there was one thing she didn't understand, so she couldn't help but ask, "Brother, what do you mean by the ability to judge the battlefield situation?" Lin Changqing smiled, glanced at her and said, "It means that you can judge where is the safest place on the battlefield. Then run there, just like you ran to my side just now, throwing the spirit talisman and joining forces with your sister Changlian to attack the opponent. Although it's a bit clever and cunning, when it comes to life and death, any favorable conditions cannot be let go. You did a good job in this regard. The only thing you did wrong in the whole battle was to use the Yin Thunder Pearl on a little cultivator at the 4th level of key refining. It was a bit of a waste." Chapter 300 Breaking Through Psychological Barriers. Lin Changling's face was red, a little embarrassed. Later, she realized that she had used the Yin Lei Pearl too early, and she could have saved it. But she whispered, "Brother, I was too nervous when I participated in the first battle. I won't do it next time." Lin Changqing smiled and nodded, and reached out to touch his sister's head. He turned to Lin Changlian and said, "When we get to the place where we rested last time, I will take care of some things, and then it will be your turn to drive the flying boat to take us back." Lin Changlian nodded, looked at Lin Changqing meaningfully, and agreed. Then she reached out and took Lin Changling's hand, looking at Lin Changling with a little pity. Obviously, she thought of the prisoner that Lin Changqing had deliberately left behind just now, and she had more or less guessed what Lin Changqing was going to do. After all, the last time they encountered this situation, there was also a prisoner, and he also did the same thing at that time. It was to force Lin Changhao to kill the prisoner. Lin Changlian believed that the 10th brother must still remember this incident. It was almost more than an hour later, and everyone finally arrived at the place where they rested last time. Lin Changqing first flew a small circle nearby, and only landed the flying boat after confirming that there was no problem. The 6 people got off the flying boat. Lin Changqing didn't want to delay too much time, so he took the prisoner out of the spirit beast bag. He threw it directly on the ground and said to his sister Lin Changling, "Changling, this robbery cultivator is in your hands. Use the flying sword to chop off his head." When the prisoner heard that they were going to chop off his head, his tightly bound body struggled desperately, begging for mercy loudly, and even crying bitterly, asking Lin Changling not to kill him, to let him live. and to promise to reform himself in the future. And Lin Changqing didn't stop him. He deliberately didn't seal the robber cultivator's mouth, just to let him perform freely there. He just wanted to see how Lin Changqing would deal with this robber cultivator. The other friends also understood what Lin Changqing was going to do, and they all watched quietly without saying anything. As for Lin Changqing, this was the first time she faced such a situation, and for a moment, she didn't know how to deal with it. She remembered what her brother asked her to do, but when she saw the captive crying and begging for mercy, she really couldn't do it. So she said to Lin Changqing, "Brother, no. I really can't do it." Lin Changqing was a little disappointed when he heard this, but from the beginning, he didn't expect his sister to chop off the captive's head in one go. Just like Lin Changqing last time, Lin Changqing began to guide. "You have to understand that this person is a robber cultivator. No matter how pitiful he behaves now, no matter how much he cries, it cannot change the fact that he is a robber cultivator. You can think about it yourself. If we were not prepared just now, or our cultivation was poor, we could not defeat them and were captured by them, how do you think they would deal with us? Will they let you go because you begged for mercy?" Hearing Lin Changqing say this, Lin Changqing's eyes became much firmer, but she looked at her brother and still said, "Then you can let others kill him. Why must I kill him?" Lin Changqing laughed and said, "Why don't you really know? The man you just killed died under the Yin Thunder Pearl, not under your sword. In fact, you haven't really killed anyone yet. In this world of cultivation where the strong prey on the weak, as a cultivator, you can't be soft-hearted. You are my sister, and you are not allowed to make even the slightest mistake, because on a real battlefield, any hesitation and softness are fatal. Anyway, this prisoner is in your hands. When you finish dealing with him as I said, we will set off to go home. Otherwise, we will wait here. When you have figured it out and finished the job, we will all go back." At this time, Lin Changqing also said with a smile, "Sister Changling, there is really nothing to hesitate about this. Your brother has forced me to do such a thing before. In fact, it's really nothing. What is there for you to pity about a robber who wants to harm us? If you have the leisure time, you might as well finish it early and go home to eat spiritual food with your family." Lin Changqing also pinched her hand, nodded to her and said, "10th brother is right. Your brother used to force him like this. He got used to it all of a sudden and quickly dealt with it according to your brother's requirements." Lin Changqing also knew that her brother was doing it for her good, and she could understand his good intentions, but she was angry with him. However, she no longer felt sorry for the prisoner, so she stopped hesitating. She forced herself to break through the mental barrier, held her breath, took out the flying sword from the storage bag, ignored the robber cultivator, begged for mercy, and slashed at him fiercely with a sword. As early as when she saw her holding the sword, everyone retreated, and only Lin Changqing stood closest. After a sword, the robber cultivator's head fell to the ground, and blood spurted out from his neck. Lin Changqing stood closest and saw it clearly. She reacted instantly, and her stomach began to roll violently. She squatted on the ground and vomited a lot. She was dizzy and almost vomited bile. Lin Changqing quickly took her aside and rested for a long time before she finally recovered. When Lin Changqing forced her at the beginning, he knew that this would definitely happen, but his sister had to go through this process. He couldn't protect her forever, and tigers also have time to nap. The body of the robber cultivator was put into the storage bag above, and the friends also helped to clean up the traces on the ground. With so many people, it was done in a short time. Then Lin Changqing released a flying boat and took everyone to fly towards Jiufeng mountain. Lin Changqing watched his sister remain silent after getting on the flying boat, and couldn't help wanting to comfort her. So he went over to hold her hand, and chuckled, "Xiaolinger, are you scared?" When Lin Changqing saw that it was her brother, she pulled her hand back vigorously, and then turned her head to the side with a humph, ignoring Lin Changqing. She had just decided that she would ignore her brother for a long time in the future. Seeing her like this, Lin Changqing was relieved. If she could have a little temper, there would be no problem at all. She would be fine in a few days, and he didn't have to worry about anything. On the flying boat, he shared with his friends the gains of this 3-day trip to the market. Others were fine. But Lin Changqing looked like he was still a little obsessed with gambling on stones. Lin Changqing didn't know what to say, he just hoped that he would not fall into gambling on stones in the future. Flying at full speed all the way, he finally returned to Jiufeng mountain in the evening. When passing the mountain gate, he said hello to his father and several uncles. By the way, They passed through the mountain protection formation and returned to the main peak. Everyone agreed to meet at Aoyan Peak tomorrow, then said goodbye to each other and went home. Lin Changqing and his sister were left alone again, but his sister Lin Changqing was having a tantrum and ignored him, and Lin Changqing had no choice. When the two returned to their yard, they just caught up with a meal, but when Lin Changqing saw her mother, she immediately threw herself into her arms and turned into a baby monster. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.